Brittany Griner is in some serious trouble. Brittany Griner is in some serious trouble. See, the NBA All-Star was arrested last month at a Moscow airport. Yes, that Moscow. After Russian authorities said a search of her luggage revealed drug vape cartridges. Now, the Russian Customs Service said Saturday that the cartridges were identified as containing cannabis oil, which could carry a maximum penalty of 10 years. 10 years in prison for some cannabis oil. You know, it's possible Russia set this whole thing up, but the video Moscow release of the incident didn't show much resistance from Griner upon the contraband discovery. And does this look like a woman who would smoke pot? Yes, it does. Not that she should be punished for it, but 10 years for pot in Russia. Look, people, I don't care how old you are, especially, but you young folks need to listen. You got to start reading the Global Room. They didn't care that she was black. They kind of care that she's lesbian, as Putin has released a slew of anti-LGBTQ laws and used them as political pawns. But more than anything else, they cared, Russia cared, that she was a celebrity and that she was an American. And they can use that American for any means that they want. So the moral of the story is, pick up a newspaper, get a clue, and mind your damn business. Let's start the show. It's the Shawn Show, and that is loud. The Shawn Show and Tyrone, presented by BodyButterBakery.com. Tonight's show: Tim Gordon from Black Film Reels, Lamont Wilkins from Ready to Love, and C. Trent Rosecrans from The Athletic. And our closing essay, Sleepwalkers. All right. Thank you all for hanging with me. And we're about to get the show started. Pull up some people here. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Happy International Women's Day. There's my man, Ty.
Yeah.
Ty.
That's good. It's that time again, huh?
It's that time again. We're doing it again, Ty.
Let's get it.
Just glad I was able to find some headsets because my others walked out on me some kind of way.
Yeah, how's the audio? How's the audio? I'm trying to use a mic this time.
Oh, it sounds good. It sounds good. You're actually coming in a little louder, but yeah, it sounds good.
Louder than normal, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you're strong. Is it even plugged up?
Yeah, it is.
Well, cool. Well, we got to get right into the show because we got a tight schedule for you guys tonight. It's a loaded show. But first up, we're going to bring up our girl, Kym Dudley.
Hey, Kym.
What's going on?
See all this right here?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
All Body Butter Bakery.
Sitting there just glistening and scratching.
Uh-huh. See that?
Scratching and glistening.
Yeah.
I'm on week 2. I'm going to try to get this beard going.
Okay.
I'm in a different part of my apartment. Notice there, it's the Cleveland Summit.
Okay.
Some boys behind me. It's a different little look there. Kym, welcome to the show again. Thank you for promoting for us, letting me be a promoter for you. And you look a little different today. What's going on?
Don't do that. See, I knew you was going to do this.
See, I wasn't going to say it.
So I was born with 1-inch brows. So this is all I naturally have, and I have to get this tattooed in order to get this tattooed. So this doesn't look ashy. I have to get the whole thing tattooed. So it looks crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, Ty. I never
It looks
knew.
nice. It's fresh, huh?
I
Okay.
didn't know women tattooed those parts right
If
there.
you didn't know anything about that, you would be about the rest.
Some people just
Man,
don't like dealing with them, you know.
Yeah.
I've been to Korea, and in Korea they shave them off so they can paint on whatever they want.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But
they may
it
not
won't
come
look
back.
this aggressive in 2 weeks. But for now, this is just like any other tattoo. It got to peel off and
Yeah.
do its thing. So
When'd you get it?
yesterday.
Oh, you good. It looks good.
Thanks.
Well, Kim, we got a loaded show, so we're gonna get right to it. So, first of all, are you a big movie person? Because we got our featured person in the second hour is Tim Gordon from Black Film Reels,
I
and
watched the movie. Yeah.
yeah, and he's also gonna talk about the Oscars and all that. Did you have a favorite movie you watched this year?
This year, no, I was actually going to go see Batman tonight, but I'll wait till tomorrow.
That's the Batman, they say. The Batman.
Well, to me, the Batman is not this guy. It's Michael Keaton, but whatever. We'll take him.
Oh, wait a minute. What were you like? 6 when Michael Keaton
It
came
doesn't
out?
matter. If you're the greatest, you're legends. You know, there's no expiration on legendary performances. So,
Well, I know he was the first. If he's the best, I'm not sure. But we're gonna have Tim talk about all that stuff, and he gave a review on that, so he could talk about that as well. Ty, you got any movies that you really were digging last year? Do you watch movies, Ty?
I do. I liked Six Underground. Was pretty good with Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
It's action packed.
That was on Netflix.
That's on
It's
Netflix.
a Michael Bay movie. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it off the top of my head.
Cool.
You know.
Cool. Well, we're gonna go into all that. But Kim, you got something for us as usual?
yes, I'm doing 50% off with the code last call because it's probably the last time I'm gonna sell body butter because it's starting to get hot. So what I run out of, that's gonna be it, and it's just the first 20 people to use it.
The first 20 people.
First 20 people. Cause so I went out of town this past weekend, yeah, and I came back to 250 orders, so I can't have a rush of orders right now. So I just 20.
Just 20.
Yeah.
That sounds like a woman who works for herself, Ty. she does not have any mandates. She's like, I just got the first 20 people.
Yeah.
Last call, 20% off.
50% off, not 20.
Oh, sorry, 50% off. Ooh, Jesus. Body Butter Bakery. So, what are you gonna do in the summertime? You're not gonna make any more?
I'm just gonna sell my other products and introduce new products. But yeah, the heat can't hold up to the heat. Not without preservatives, and I don't want to use preservatives.
Ooh. You mean like jelly and all that? I don't know what you mean by preservatives. I don't know anything about
chemicals. Chemicals to keep it intact, keep it from liquefying.
All right. So you all heard that. The first 20 people, y'all better get on it because Kim's gonna be done, and I guess she's just gonna like chill out for the rest of the summer or something. Summer ain't even started, and Kim is like, I'm done with this joint.
My mind's already there.
All right. Well, cool. All right. So we got the code. It is last call. The code 50% off. Bodybutterbakery.com. Once again, Kim, thank you so much. And if you're checking us out, enjoy the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, babe. That Kim's a nice girl. Trying to find our guest now because we're going to get the show going because we have a tight schedule. So, but yeah, we're going to talk a little sports. Are you a sports fan, Ty?
Yeah.
Other than, I mean, I know you talk about the Patriots because, you know, you're from New England. There's that dude is right there.
So we got a lot of championships to talk about.
We do. Well, I got some championships this year too. That's right. Who you repping, Trent? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend, Trent Rosecrans. We know him as Trent Rosecrans. He's a senior baseball writer for theathletic.com. And he's also a UGA grad, although, he's repping Georgia because, he's been pessimistic for so many years, but now he's repping Georgia because we're winners. How you doing, Trent?
Hey, winners. It's all that matters. We're winners.
You know, I got
winners,
another,
or you won?
Got that too. Got that going on. I got that.
Yeah, that happened.
I got one. That did happen, right? All right.
So we're good.
So Trent, let's get into it real quick because we only got like 10 or 15 minutes with you. What the hell's going on with baseball?
Oh, baseballing. They're baseballing.
I mean, the NFL had great news today. Big news. Aaron Rodgers is staying for like $1 trillion, so he can become the highest paid per year quarterback. Russell Wilson is leaving Seattle to go to Denver in a blockbuster trade. And baseball is still twiddling their thumbs. Are they ever going to get the season going? What's the latest?
I think they will. There's actually I've been keeping Twitter over here. My guy Evan Drellick is killing it for The Athletic on what's going on. The MLB side, the owners have just made another counter proposal. They had another fake deadline today about whether if they don't get a deal done today, they won't have 162 games. They're going to get a deal done sometime, but
the Braves played the Dodgers in like April, and I was going to go out to LA for that trip. Should I not plan that trip?
What part of April?
I think it's like middle April.
It's going to be tight. So I cover the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds always open at home. Well, now it looks like they canceled the first week-ish of the season. So now the Reds are going to open in Atlanta if they get a deal done soon. So I'm not making any plans to go to Atlanta just yet. Well, heck, I haven't even been to Arizona. So I'm usually in Arizona at this time of year.
For spring training.
For spring training, and I haven't even gone there yet.
Ty, you're a Red Sox fan?
Yeah, indeed.
What's going on with the Red Sox? Real quick.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing's going on with anybody.
Nothing.
It's a lockout.
The first two series has been canceled, so we're waiting on word, right?
And here's the thing: like since December 1st, there's been zero business done on the major league level. You can't sign players. You can't talk to players. You can't talk about trades. Coaches and managers can't talk to their players.
But there's got to be some backroom stuff going on, right? Like, for instance, the Braves, Freddie Freeman has not been signed yet. What is going on with that?
Well, I mean, once it hit December 2nd at midnight, he can't. And so I think the big thing is do the Braves want to, and did them waiting that long piss Freddie off? And I think the problem for the Braves is there is a perfect fit for Freddie Freeman in New York.
There's always a perfect fit in New York.
But I mean, for the Yankees, and
as the
if
Red
they want
Sox
to do
fan,
that,
for rumps.
I mean, honestly, I expect Freddie Freeman to be back with the Braves. It's kind of hard to see him anywhere else, and really, like, I think this is going to get done in the next week or two. Which stinks. I wish it were done already. It's already past like my prediction, but it's basically the owners have already won. Andy McCullough had a great column about this today. Whatever happens, the owners won. Owners always win.
Owners always win.
We know that. Yeah, the thing is like when they talk about guys being overpaid, somebody's writing those checks. Those checks don't bounce. No baseball team has gone out of business since the Seattle Pilots in 1969.
The Mets came close.
They're not in that problem right now.
Okay.
Tom Ricketts, who's trying to claim that the Cubs don't have any money and they have to do all these things, is going to try to buy Chelsea. It's crazy. So it's all this posturing. What happens in the end is not going to help anybody but the owners. The owners, rich old white dudes always win.
Speaking of old white dudes, how long are you going to rock that beard?
It's getting a little gray.
You need some body butter?
Yeah, probably.
I think body butter might work on Trent.
Yeah.
Do
You
you
should.
use lotion, Trent?
No.
Oh, God, he answered it truthfully.
Yeah, I did. You know me.
So,
I'm not a good liar.
ladies and gentlemen, this is our warm-up guest because I know if you fall
God
asleep,
damn.
that's because we're talking about baseball.
Uh-huh.
If you fall asleep, we're talking about baseball, which I love, but most of you don't. But we only got a few more minutes with Trent here, one of my great friends who works for The Athletic. But also last year, and for a couple of years, you held a very important position at the Baseball Writers Association. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I was the president of the Baseball Writers Association of America in 2021, which was a heck of a year to be the president of the Baseball Writers Association of America.
Does that mean you get a vote? Do you get a vote for the hall?
I get a vote for other reasons. Yeah. But I have a vote. Actually, this is my notebook. I keep it right here. That I do all my Hall of Fame stuff.
I've never met anyone in person who can vote.
Yeah, I was actually at
That's pretty cool.
the ceremony this year. I've been twice, so it was a lot of fun. You sit there and have breakfast, and Derek Jeter's right there. I have this game that I play a lot of times when I get on a plane, and it was more when I was at the newspaper. And it was, if this plane goes down, where am I going to be in the news story? And
who's on the plane?
And so I was thinking, like, I took this bus, and it had Ricky Henderson, Wade Boggs, Robin Yount, Dennis Eckersley.
Trent, were you driving the bus?
Dave Winfield. No.
You ain't important work at all on that damn bus.
No. It was unbelievable. I think Rod Carew was on there. It was pretty nuts. So this year was kind of cool. The night before I had dinner, and I walk into this dinner, I feel this guy grab me and say, "Trent, you're coming with me." And I sat all night talking with Ken Griffey Jr. because I covered Ken for a long time, and I know Ken pretty well.
And you're in Cincinnati.
And I'm in Cincinnati. Yeah. So I covered Ken when he was with the Reds.
How was the city when the Bengals lost, the way they lost?
I think a lot of people were just kind of overwhelmed. You got to remember, this team had not had a playoff win, like a series for baseball or football, since 1995. Yeah. So the fact that they got to where they were was pretty crazy and pretty great. I mean, a lot of people were really, really excited. The Bengals hadn't won a playoff game since 1990, when the last playoff game,
Tim Crumrine,
game they won.
Shuffle.
The last playoff game they won was the one where Bo Jackson was hurt.
Oh.
Yeah.
The hip pointer.
For years.
The hip pointer where he was running. Ooh.
And it was the curse of Bo Jackson. And, I mean, you think about those 2005-ish, the Chad Johnson, Carson Palmer Bengals. So those were some fun Bengals teams. The 2005 team was probably their best chance, and that's when Carson Palmer got hit in the first series on that long pass to Chris Henry. And so, there's all this. You want to talk about, Shawn, Atlanta sports.
Yes.
And how that feeling is.
Yes.
Well, think about Cincinnati. Haven't won anything since 1990 when the Reds won. They have the number one college basketball team in the country.
I remember Kenyon Martin got hurt.
And Kenyon Martin gets hurt in the Conference USA tournament, breaks his leg. And there's that. You have the Carson Palmer in 2005. 2012, Reds had second best record in baseball. And Johnny Cueto gets hurt in game one out in San Francisco. They still win that game and the next game. And they come back and have to face the Giants and just win 1 of 3 at home. I remember. They basically just folded. They lost Cueto in game one, and it was a backup that they didn't have the pitching. The The Giants win 3 games in Cincinnati, and
See-
they go on to win the World
see,
Series.
Trent, that's why that T-shirt you're wearing and this hat that I got was so important this year for Georgia fans because we were in that rut. And and if you don't get out that rut, I mean, it looked like you're never going to get out that rut. In fact, the Braves should have won the year before. We were up 3-1.
Yeah.
And I saw you, Donovan. You were on here talking about some Gold Dodgers. No, like I said on my video when we won, F the Dodgers, okay? We ain't stunned the Dodgers. But, yeah, 3-1. And we gave that up.
From our old place.
Oh, that's nice. That's from the old job. So Trent and I used to work together, and we were in the same dorm. Yeah, twice.
Yeah,
we're in the same dorm at University of Georgia. Go Dogs. And you know, we've been lifelong friends. And whenever he stops in, sometimes and he gets a chance, we try to get a drink when he's.
Yeah.
Do you still do beat work?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll get to DC this year. We can have some drinks.
Get you away from the family.
You get to Cincinnati. We got some drinks.
Yeah.
I've got really nice bourbons.
Oh, that's right. You're in Kentucky. You got to bring them.
Yeah, I got some Pappy.
Oh, you got Pappy?
Yeah, actually, I got it for my dad. My dad was big into bourbon, and I got it for my dad. And he had it. He hadn't drank it all.
Oh.
And then he passed away 2 weeks ago, and I just brought back lots, Wellers, a couple Wellers, some Pappy. I got some stuff. So you got to come to Cincinnati.
I got to come to Cincinnati to get that then. And that's worth the trip. We're going to be down there. Me and some fellas going to be down there. You remember my friend Zach and another guy, Chris. We got a Kentucky road trip. So the Kentucky road game, we're going to do Louisville the day before, and then we'll do Lexington. So we'll be in the area. I'll drive a little bit further and get to Cincinnati.
That's a plan.
So we're running out of time here because I got to bring up some more guests. And just real quick, we're 33 past the hour. This is the Shawn Show. We're just getting warmed up, getting caught up on the sports headlines with the senior baseball writer of The Athletic, my good friend C. Trent Rosecrans, who, if Jamal Sayas last week as our international consultant broke the mold as being the first non-white guest, Trent has broken the mold by being the first absolutely white guest. In fact,
and you've known me long enough to know how absolute that is.
In fact, I think you're clear. I don't even think you're white. You're just clear. So, just wanted to give you shouts out. But
I love you, man.
I love you too, dude. So, you got anything you want to share with the audience? Any type of stories about our time together? So many.
Oh my God! The one I still use is because the thing is in Athens, nothing starts early. When you're in Athens, and when we'd work at the Banner Herald, we'd be like, "Hey, let's go to the tavern," which was the Washington Street Tavern.
Yeah.
And Shawn would be like, "Yeah, I'll be there midnight 30." So I use midnight 30 all the time.
I'm notoriously a little late. Ty would tell you that. I show up late for everything, but that's when you know everybody's there. I do remember, I look back on it now, I think a year before we were done at Georgia, must have been Marjorie Taylor Greene's, the notorious Marjorie Taylor Greene's time at Athens. Yeah. Oh, no, I believe it. Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene.
You do believe it. Yeah.
But do you remember when we were we got off work late and we were going to the tavern and we saw a bunch of sorority girls and
Halloween?
Yes, and some of them were dressed up in blackface.
I remember that.
And I got my blackface in their faces.
Yeah.
And I look back on that. I could have been lynched. It could have been terrible.
Yeah, I just remember I don't know, because they had never thought about it that way. They had no clue what they were doing was wrong. None. And I think your reaction was 100% justified, and hopefully it made them think. I don't know. But I remember that day. I just remember your eyes. And, I mean, it changed me. You know me. I don't think I would go in blackface, but it's one of those things that I can't feel what it would feel like to see that. And I saw the pain in your eyes. And what you said, you tried to explain to them pretty loudly why what they were doing was wrong.
Yeah.
But like, I inherently knew that was wrong, but I just remember the pain.
It was a little more anger.
I just remember the pain.
It was more anger.
No. Afterwards, though, Shawn.
Oh yeah.
And it changed how I looked at it. Like, not that I ever thought that was okay, but it changed me. And I don't know. It's something I think about anytime we hear about blackface. And it was me and Mark, and I think Josh were all there.
Yep.
And we were sitting outside. I think we also saw someone in a Chipper Jones costume, and his girlfriend was in a Hooters costume that same night.
Chipper Jones knocked up a Hooters waitress. So, yeah.
And I think she had a baby.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But like, I just, that is a powerful memory for me. And I don't know, that is one. And yeah, I saw it and I noticed it. Probably it hit me harder because of my friends, and I saw what it did to my friend.
Well, you're. Did you say Ty?
Yeah.
You should have been on mute. We're about to wrap up. We're about to talk about making some money. That's how you defeat racism. Make some money. So I got to let you go, Trent. We do overtime. It'll probably be around 9:45, 9:50. So if you're still up, you're welcome to join back in. Just hit me up. I'm old.
I may be asleep.
I know you are, and you got to take care of the little girl. Tell the family. Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm following you on IG and Twitter now.
All righty, that sounds good.
Got you.
Hopefully, I do something soon.
And I'm gonna leave you with this. I don't care what you pious motherfuckers say. Barry Bonds is a Hall of Famer. Damn it.
I vote for him. So what am I get? You know.
That's all you can do. He was close. Was this his last chance though?
Last chance on the writers' ballot. I think he had a better chance on the writers' ballot than the Veterans Committee.
It'll be a goddamn shame if Barry Bonds ain't in the hall.
Hey, we just got to get some young veterans, some young generation veterans, to filter these suckers out.
I think that's going to take a while because the people on that committee are his contemporaries and his seniors now. Although I will say, I think one of the louder voices on that committee now is Ken Griffey Jr., and that could help him.
You got to give me a baseball sign by Junior.
I don't have one. I can, yeah. So
we'll talk offline.
All right, buddy.
Love you, man.
We will. Love you too.
Take care, Trent.
All right.
Bye.
That was Trent Rosecrans from The Athletic, theathletic.com, the very popular sports website service that has, I think, like 60 affiliates across the country, taking care of business there. And he just hipped us to baseball. And I love baseball during the summer, but that's also how I know that I'm 45. And I used to play it. Did you ever play sports, sir?
Yeah. Not baseball. Kind of thought baseball was boring. I didn't really like baseball until I started following people's individual stats. Mm-hmm. So like every Tuesday, Pedro was going to pitch or something like that, right? And then I would keep track of Manny Ramirez. Who else did I like? Nomar Garciaparra, had some pretty good stats. And just pretty much hating on the Yankees, was helping me pass my day. Every morning on the ride to work, WEEI. What's up, Lamont?
What's going on, fellas? What's up?
How you been, man?
Hey, man, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Just busy writing, memorizing, that type stuff, man.
That's right. You're a poet extraordinaire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got so my favorite poet, Talam Macy, he's actually going to be at the Busboys and Poets in Shirlington on Monday.
Okay.
So I'm gearing up to go there. I've never met him, but, definitely want to meet him in person and, spit a little something for the people, You see me on, I think you were there when I...
When you doing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lamont and I, we did our what we do for a living, opening footage shoots for Ready to Love on the same day. And that's pretty much where we chopped it up a little bit. And I didn't see any of that used for me. So I saw some of it used for you, though. But not much.
Just me sitting at the table, literally. That whole segment, me walking in, going on stage, writing all that, they cut it all out. So
it's as if they're notorious. Ready to Love is notorious for like not using music and things or mentions of other people's work because they don't have the rights to it. So it was like they thought they didn't have the rights to your own poetry or something, which would be ridiculous.
I don't know. I have no idea, but maybe they'll come out with something, you know, and they have tons of footage on all of us. So maybe they'll have something in the works and they'll show some footage or something. I don't know. But
well, before we get into your crypto work, real quick, can you give us a little recap on how things been since the show, and have you found love?
You know what? So I've been dating, but have I found love? Short answer is no. Haven't found love. Haven't found the right one. Been out on dates, had good conversation, stuff like that. But, you know, nothing titled as of yet.
Would you do it again?
The show? I mean, I was only on the first episode, so yeah. I mean, shit. It's like gearing up, going to the amusement park. You get on one roller coaster and it rains. It's like, well, damn, I didn't do it. I didn't get to see it. so yeah. I mean, I'll do it again in that respect, you know. So,
hey, Lamont, when did you say you was gonna be at Busboys?
So Busboys, yeah. So it's the Busboys in Arlington, you know.
No,
I think it kicks off at like 8. And like Talam, so I'm on Talam's mailing list, and he sent the email out saying, you know, giving a range of all these dates. So he's going to be there on Monday. And then he's going to be at I think it's the K Street or the U Street Busboys a week after. No, the next day on Tuesday. So
Monday.
Yeah. So for me, Monday, you know, because that's right in Arlington, Shirlington, whatever.
Yeah, that's right up the street.
Yeah. Hey, okay.
I can walk there.
Okay.
I can walk there. So
yeah. So just writing, trying to get feedback, like what piece do people want me to do? What they want to hear? Do they want to hear something new? That type stuff, you know, artist stuff, whatever.
Yeah. Do you know Coon the poet? He goes by Coon. He goes by Coon the poet.
I haven't heard of him, but you can send me his profile.
Okay, no. But just hit me up before you go, man. I'll meet you over there.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah.
We look forward to that.
Let's educate people, since you said your time was short on Ready to Love. Could you tell people what you do, your main gig for a living? I know you're a poet extraordinaire, but your main gig.
The bread and butter.
The bread and butter, and then tell us how you got into crypto. And by the time you do that, I'll bring up our economics professor, and we could just have a round table about that stuff.
Have a hash out. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So full-time job, I mean, what gets the bills paid? I do a cybersecurity account management, kind of like, you know, ties on cyber also. I'm not on the software, hardware side, if you will, though. But, and of course, any extra money starts going into what's called the crypto. Yeah, let me preface this by saying I am not a financial advisor. You know, people will hear that a lot as you start doing research on YouTube, as you start doing the whole Google is your friend thing. People will say that a lot because at the end of the day, we're not responsible for you know, losing your money or what have you. But to that point, you don't want to spend any money that you can't afford to lose. You know, don't be spending your rent money, dog. You know, don't put your cell phone money up and lose it and your phone get cut off, you know. And, you know, do your own research despite what anyone's saying. It's your hard-earned money at the end of the day. So you definitely want to be doing research before you go putting it into any token or exchange or what have you. But to that point, how I got into crypto, you know, I'm into cars. You know, we're at a car show out in Great Falls. It's called like Cars and Coffee, Katie's Cars and Coffee. And one of our car show members, his friend pulls up in, you know, a McLaren. And it's like, you know, they start talking about how that ended up happening. And in essence, he got into cryptocurrency early on. You know, when the cost was low, it blew up. He cashed out, got a ton of money from it. And obviously that piqued curiosity. And I think around that time, Doge was blowing up, you know, so folks were telling me about Doge and, hey, get in on this. And I signed up on Robinhood, got into Doge, threw a couple $100 at, threw $100 at it at first, saw my money double, triple, and started throwing a little bit more money in, and then of course we all know, last year Doge took off, right? Imagine buying something at less than a nickel, more than a penny, less than a nickel. You throw what, $500 at that. How many shares is that? Then it goes up to over a quarter. Do the math on that.
That's an exceptional amount of money.
Yeah. But to that point also, though, you have to have, like, we knew that Doge was something volatile. What does that mean? That just means that, the price could dip up and down anytime. You're pretty much in one of those altcoins for the short term. Get in, get your money, and then TP, which is called take profit. So when it ballooned up, that's exactly what happened. Went ahead, cashed out. But then, that piqued my curiosity. Like, okay, this crypto thing is real. Because I was a skeptic by nature, too. You know what I mean? I was going through the same thing everyone else goes into. Being afraid of losing their dollars.
All right, so with that, let me bring in Hanif and then ask your question, Ty. We brought in Professor Hanif Omar from the School of Business at Shaw University, and also another old friend of mine. I dig into my Rolodex to book these shows. We did a show called Fast Break in Durham, North Carolina, on WNCCU, and those were good times. Everybody was broke, but we were hustling. And my man is here. Say hello to the people, Hanif, and then Ty, you got the next question. What's up, Hanif?
Shawn, thank you for having me on, man. And
Professor Omar.
Nah, I teach classes. I'm not necessarily a professor. I just teach classes right now. I have the opportunity to teach at Shaw University. Of course, I went to North Carolina Central University.
Crazy.
So I'm like an entrepreneur in residence at Shaw, and I'm not a PhD. I'm a master's level. I have an MBA. So I still don't consider myself of the academy, but I enjoy working with the students there. And so thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers. Tyrone, you got the next question.
Man. Oh, no. I was going to ask him one about, what were you using to track your crypto? I personally use Coinbase. And can you tell the people what HODL means?
So, question for me. So, like everyone, well, initially I was in Robinhood, but after that whole Doge thing, I got into your Coinbase. Obviously, Coinbase and Cash App, those the C's, if you will, those are the first two that people are going to start hearing about. And so I got into that and was really just tracking it that way. Found out about another C called CoinMarketCap, where you can actually start tracking trends and starting to understand charts. And I think that that's the part that gets overlooked. People just want to jump in, get a ton of money, cash out, right? And it does happen. However, you want to make sure you have the correct strategy also, just like how we invest in 401k, how we got savings, all that stuff. You want to have your short term, you want to have your long term, knowing the volatility of the crypto markets. Some things you invest in are going to be on the short term, but you should understand what the markets are. I saw you type in there HODL, hold on for dear life. So a lot of times you'll see folks talking about, oh my God, the market's crashing, sell. So those are folks that are probably in it for the short term, that are probably cashing out, trying to get as much money as possible. I mean, Shawn, when we were at Dante and Aisha, you come in, I'm on my laptop.
That's how I knew that you were into
phone. Yeah, I was like, look, I don't mean to be rude, but give me a second. I'm moving money out because the market's tanking. So what I had invested in, I had to, move it into something else because I was, bleeding per se. And obviously that's a token that I was in for the short term. However, if it's something that I was in for the long term and the market dips, you understand that there's going to be highs and lows. You always hear the term buy the dip. What does that mean? Buy low, sell high. That is actually for anyone in looking their strategies long term for investing in something. You want to jump in when it's low and buy as much as you can right now, because when it goes back up, you're already going to be in profit. So if that answers your
I was gonna
go ahead, Ty.
No, I was going to say, even before investing, right, you should definitely use the strategy of having some liquid assets right? Maybe 6 months worth or
Yeah.
a year's worth if you can, and then start investing. Because like if you end up pulling out of your 401k or pulling out of, your crypto, you're essentially taking money away from your future, right? And that's something you definitely don't want to do. Just get a high yield savings account, put 6 months to a year's worth of money in there, and then start investing.
So Hanif, what are your thoughts on crypto in general and these types of ways to invest, and what investment strategies do you talk about when you're teaching class at Shaw University?
Well, I mean, I just say both of the gentlemen was correct. I think the first thing, there is a wealth pyramid that before you even invest, you should have the foundational things to, some type of foundation in real estate, some type of banking relationship, some type of savings. To the point that I think Mr. Tyrone said is, even a high yielding savings account is not really that good anymore, because with inflation, as long as you put your money in savings, you're actually losing money with inflation right now. So leading to answer your question, Shawn, I would say that opportunity like crypto is something that first, like everyone should do, we should all research. That's one. Two, that's one. But even when you see those instances, whether it's stock or cryptocurrency or what have you, when the market is down, that is basically the store is 50% off or it's 40% off. It's a sale. And that's when you should actually get in. And like you said, with any investments at that level, that should be a long-term thing. You shouldn't be looking to try to play around with it. So specifically crypto, for me, and the way I vision it with my research, this is probably, and I'm going to say this, we're going into what I would see is called the fourth industrial revolution, right? So, so meaning that the way we live now, the way transactions are done is going to totally change completely to digital. So for people that are below the wealth, that are below the wealth gap, this may be one of the final opportunities to get a certain level of wealth, or you're going to be locked into a grid. And I say maybe around 2028, 2029, 2030, when everything becomes digital, and when they start rationing money to us. So this is probably one of your last opportunities to really get in and even the playing field. So I'll take something researching that Nipsey Hussle said before he passed away, that this is basically the people that built the blockchain and built this cryptocurrency or started mining cryptocurrency to build value. This was their revolutionary way to try to create some value out of something and to try to even the playing field for folks that not have opportunities for wealth. So I would say research it, regardless if it's Dogecoin or some other type of coin, or if it's initial coin opening. I think it's essential to find something, unless you got something real hot going right now, which you can. But I would also leverage it off with crypto, because this is an opportunity to level the playing field and to get in on some level of wealth. If not, we're going to probably be left behind, to be very honest with you.
I got a question. I want to know how y'all feel about this statement, because you had mentioned, leveling things and making things even. So I heard this statement where they pretty much said that if you took all the money that you have in the world and then spread all that money out evenly, in 5 to 10 years, the people who are rich now will still be the people who are rich later on, right? Because it's still, that mental mindset that keeps people broke, right? That keeps them poor. You know what I mean? How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I mean, there's a book on it. I mean, that's probably the most popular book about, at the end of the day, a lot of this is about mindset. I mean, we weren't taught these things. So it's our job, to break these generational curses by, learning as much as we can and doing this, because this stuff wasn't taught to us. Had I have known about Rich Dad Poor Dad earlier on, I would have been saving more. Had I have known about, I forget the guy's name, where he's talking about like different ways of paying down debt and stuff like that, things would be a lot better off. So if acquiring this knowledge early on and passing it down to generation is what's going to help break that wealth gap, if you will, because instead of going out and blowing your money on XYZ, what if I taught you that the best way to invest to get a better yield than, like you said, your savings account was to get into something like crypto, and let me show you tangible information that backs that up. So if that's not being taught to me, I can't teach it to you. You go back to the old school hip hop where they talk about each one teach one. You know what I mean? So this type of knowledge is important so that we can pass it down.
And I would say that, I think you're absolutely correct, Mr. Tyrone. Well, that's the first thing I think both of us led with is do your own research. So one book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Another book, which is much smaller, is called The Richest Man in Babylon. You can read that book as well. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. These are all books that I used in my instruction, but I used myself personally as I started to accumulate assets and things like that. So the thing is about the mentality, sure, I'm not against people being wealthy. I aspire to be wealthy from a material standpoint myself every day. Is that what I live for? No, but I'm not against people being rich. But I am saying that there is a very defined wealth gap. And if you want to ascend and to not to have to be check to check, or like you said, have more than 6 months of savings, then you have to start studying to get a better trajectory, get better returns on the money that you spent. Because really, in actuality, everything we have in savings right now or in a checking account, every day is going to lose value, specifically because of the pandemic and all the PPP loans and all the bailouts that happened. Because the money, our physical money, is no longer on the gold standard. The money you have in your pocket, every time the government puts something out, it loses value every day. And that's just the honest to God
There's
truth.
too much money on the market because we had to bail out the world during the pandemic.
That's right.
So that's why the money doesn't have value.
Yeah.
Hope we're coming up on the top of the hour. It's 58 past the hour. For those who are listening or watching at home, get pen and paper. These brothers are telling you stuff that you need to write down and research and look into. Ty has been putting in names of books with the links on them into the chat. So scroll up to see those links. We got just a few more minutes, but I did want to say something because I've always been kind of skeptical about crypto because it felt like a wealthy person's game to get other people to invest in this something that they would have a lot of so they can have a big pool of money to play around with. So it feels kind of slush fundish to me. Not quite, it's not exactly like a Ponzi scheme, but it does feel like, okay, this tube of the toothpaste keeps squeezing one way or the other. And I subscribe to the Warren Buffett school of investing about things that you can actually touch and feel as to what to invest in. Is that, is that a terrible way to look at it though? As far as, he's an old man, but he is still a $200 billion.
It's a lot easier to say that when you already got billions.
Right.
You know what I mean? He already has his own stock, right? Berk A, Berk B.
Yeah, Berk A and
you know
B.
what I mean?
And B is not even affordable.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's always going to be there's a terminology out there called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's pretty much going to keep you stagnant. People fear what they don't understand. I was in the same way. It's like, this thing can't be real. Again, until I put a little bit of money in it, saw some returns, and then started doing a little bit more research. But I can't stress how important that research is with knowing what consolidations are, what bearish markets, bullets markets are, candles opening, watching trends. You have whether you're doing NFT, crypto, stock, this is your foundation. You have to know this stuff, period. Because if you don't, let's say the market's going down and you're just selling off everything and you have a long-term strategy. What are you doing? You're playing, even if you have money to burn, that's not a good strategy. So, know your trends, know your charts, know your terminology before anything else. Then you start getting in there.
Go ahead.
And then also, like I said, Shawn, I understand that, but there's something called the blockchain, which is the technology that creates cryptocurrency, Coinbase, etc. So the thing is, there also is NFTs that come from this blockchain. So there's other forms of that. So when you say someone wealthy did this in order to, I wouldn't let that, you shouldn't shy away from that, because the actual money that we have in our pocket is under those same type of risk as well. The bigger risk is, like the gentleman said, is that if you don't get in and you had an opportunity now, when you have people speaking unto you and people researching it,
you're missing out.
That's the part of capitalism. And so again, finally, I would just say, like, hey, when crypto first came out with that type of currency, I doubled down on real estate, and I like the real estate I have, and et cetera. But I also want to explore these exponential returns that crypto is bringing. And I have actual real life friends, God is my witness, where crypto has actually changed their lives. Yeah. And not that I'm comparing, I'm saying, okay, well, this is a sign for me to go ahead and research and do the same thing. So I think it's a real thing.
Real quick, because we got about 4 more minutes, and then we're going to shift gears and bring on another guest. And I invite all of you, both of you, to come back after the show for overtime if you got time for it. I'll text you, and you can let me know one way or the other to continue the conversation. But I did promise this on the poster. Explain NFT in 2 sentences or less.
Non-fungible token, piece of digital media like a photo, video, something that can't be replicated. And the more rare the item is, the more value that it's going to have. So
that's right. So a fungible token is your money that you have. And so non-fungible token means it's unique. It can't be duplicated. There's no equal to it. So one NFT is not exactly equal to another NFT, but $1 is equal to $1. So it's just something that it uses the same technology that creates cryptocurrency, is the same technology that creates NFTs. And because it's digital, when it's created, the code locks in the value of that particular item. So that's just another spin-off. It's totally different from cryptocurrency. So it's just something different.
But it's digital, but so how is it showcased, or is it ever showcased? It's just...
Well, you can do it a couple ways. There was just 3 or 4 months ago, someone tied an NFT to an actual real estate transaction. So you created, this is kind of complex, but you created an LLC, you put the NFT in the LLC, and then you purchase the actual real estate with the LLC. So when you purchase the home or what have you, if you wanted to purchase the NFT, it's a real estate transaction using NFT. So it's a technology used to create some form of value. And so there's several ways you can get at it. And again, like the gentleman said earlier, it's all about research. And so it's a little bit different from cryptocurrency, but it's based on the same technology.
Yeah, and quite simply, people say it's a fad, all this stuff. In general, we've been investing in things that are rare for years. Museums wouldn't exist if rarity of an item wasn't a thing. Period. The only difference is that this is in the digital Web3 space. That's it. So you want to go out and buy a $350 pair of Jordans? Guess what? You can do that online. And, in I don't even know if 5 years is long enough. But I will say that we're going to be judged a lot on our value and stuff in the digital space going forward.
That's right.
Like, well, Dad, you got this NFT, that NFT. There's a reason why rappers are changing their profile pictures to NFTs. There's a reason why your Odell's wants his salary in Bitcoin. Lil Baby said, don't pay me in money no more. Pay me in Bitcoin. I joke around in my posts and say, hey, let me give you my wallet. Send me Ethereum instead of, but there's a reason for this. I mean, Coinbase isn't dumping $14 million in a Super Bowl ad, and crashing the server for
someone has some money.
You know what I mean?
To buy out Staples to become crypto.com.
Yeah, hey, at the end of the day, again, not a financial advisor, do your own research, but this should be eye-opening enough for people to say, look, something's going on. And like gentleman said, you either want to be a part of it or want to do enough research to kind of get in the game, or you might be left behind. You know what I mean? So
fantastic.
Snoop made $44 million last month in NFTs.
That's why, BODR. He released the album on the blockchain and Death Row Records as an NFT label. why these are major artists. You know, hip hop, you know, influences culture. Why are these okay? If you want to pay attention to hip hop and what rappers are doing, why are they doing this if this was a thing?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
It's a real thing, Sean. It's
you
a
know?
real thing, Sean.
No.
So,
I'm not saying it's not a real thing. That's why you guys are on to explain it to not just me, but everybody else who may be
Yeah.
skeptical. And I gotta end it here, Hanif. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to close it out, and then we're gonna go to our next segment. What else?
Okay.
What can you give us something to close it out?
Well,
Professor
I would just say, you know, like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So, like the gentleman said, rich dad, poor dad, richest man in Babylon. Think and Grow Rich. If you're really interested in investing, go out and do it. Again, there was there was an industrial revolution. That was the Civil War. And the people in the South did not want to the labor to go towards factory working. There's a fourth industrial revolution going on, and it's going to happen. And so if you want to be left in the analog world, you can do that, or you can get involved in the digital world and be a part of that as well. So it's inevitable. And just study up and whatever you invest. And again, I appreciate you for having me on.
No, I appreciate both you brothers, Lamont Wilkins, Ready to Love castmate. You can follow him at WH Pros. Is it WH Pros 21? What is it?
So WHPROSE is the IG. Yeah, and like in closing, I would touch on the same thing and just say educate yourself. You got the keys to a Maserati, but if you don't know how to drive, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna crash that car. So, you know, I can't stress that enough. If you want to find a place to get started, go follow Gary Vee on Instagram. You know, talking a lot of that, but that's where I started.
I concur.
He's good.
He's doing that
straight up with it.
You know, so
you should do that anyway. And you can follow Hanif Omar at Bull City Thunder, and he'll probably be up here.
On LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. He does LinkedIn more than anything else.
Yeah.
So this concludes the finance part. We could circle back to it for anybody who's interested in overtime. We're going to move on to our next guest, which is Tim Gordon. But thank you, brother, so much. And
appreciate it, Sean.
Enjoy the rest of the show. God bless.
Right.
And Hanif, I'll see you when you come back up here to DC. We're going to get smoke.
Very soon.
All right, y'all. Have a good one.
Thanks, boys. You know what, Ty? That was refreshing.
It was quick. Yeah, it was quick. Eye-opening. Like I literally had a 2-hour conversation about financial literacy with one of my best friends today.
Yes.
And we went over a lot of different stuff, and sometimes you may need to re-strategize, you know, your financial planning, your outlook, you know, with a friend. You know, because you may have plans for, you know, your finances, but sometimes hearing a different perspective can make you switch up. And then when you start learning about compound interest and what it looks like, you know, 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
See, we didn't even get a chance to get into that, conventional tools, like beyond just crypto, like certain funds, certain stocks, and certain mortgage interest loans and things like that that you could invest in. There's all sorts of stuff out there that instruments that are ways to make money, as well as crypto. So there's a whole way to try to catch that wave, because we are in a time where the world is remaking itself right now in a number of ways.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find that site, but basically it's a compound interest. So any compound interest calculator just pretty much shows you, you know, what's the numbers, like 8% interest, 2% yield, 8. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. No. I know what you're saying.
And just see what you would start off with your initial investment, and then see what that looks like, you know, 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now. You'll realize that, you know, one slight adjustment can be the difference between hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes. We totally will be bringing folks on doing those types of lives again, because money is an ever needed thing. So we're never going to not talk about money or lack thereof. But we're going to change gears now and devote our last hour to the film industry. And I'm about to bring on a brother, Tim Gordon, who does so many great things when it comes to the movie realm. He's been a reviewer for several decades. He's also a Marine, a former Marine. And there's the brother right there, American Gangster.
Man, how am I supposed to follow that last segment, man? I want to learn
segment.
how to make money. You can have me on another time. I want to hear about this money, man.
All right, Tim. Good night. Ladies and gentlemen,
how you doing, brother?
I'm great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tim Film Gordon. I met him a couple of years back and participated in what was the Columbia Film Festival?
No, bro, don't say that, man. No, it was the Lakefront Film Festival.
I just knew it was
the black version of that film festival. That was us.
The Lakefront Film Festival. But I'm not just going to keep him local because he's already also done some stuff for BET, PBS, and he's been pushing and he's also fought for our country as a Marine. Is that right, Tim?
6.5 years.
Respect.
Yeah. That's an Army man beside you right there. That's Todd Wilson.
Hey, man, somebody got to look. He got to get it started in the morning, man.
Somebody got to get it started, right? But Tim also is the founder of something called the Black Real Awards. And I was honored to participate at reading on nominations like before the pandemic, I think, or right at the start of pandemic. But I got a vote this year. And I voted on a few things, at least a few things that I did see. So,
hey, brother, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
No, it's a cool thing. And, you know, like the Academy Awards, they give out the Oscars. You give away the Bolt.
We give away the Bolt, man. It's a brand new award, man. We introduced people haven't seen it yet. And we're having them made to give to this year's winners for the awards that we just had last week. But when we do the awards in August, the television awards, we hope to have them in their hand if they're not in the building to pick them up. So we're very excited about it, man. And I'm glad that you're a part of it as well.
No, thank you so much for having me a part of it. You know, since I'm a movie star in my own head, I should be a part of it. but let's get into let's get into your awards first. Now, I got your winners of the Black Real Awards, and when it came to like coming up with the nominees, first of all, was that a tough task? Like, how do you sort through all of that, and where do you find all the hours in the day to watch all this material?
Well, I mean, let's keep it real, man. Tim Gordon does not vote. Tim Gordon created it, and Tim Gordon has all the relationships. But it's people like you that make up members of our voting academy. Mm-hmm. We have about 100 members right now, and I would say about 40% of our voting academy members are actual film critics like myself. So they get a chance to see movies all throughout the year. We also have actors such as yourself. We have directors, producers, other film creatives that make up our voting academy. And those folks, man, do an amazing job, man. So every year it's really, really competitive. But it's as competitive as film is every year. For me, television, which is coming up in August, is usually like, you know, that's a blood sport, man, trying to sort through and get 5 nominations in outstanding comedy, outstanding TV, movie, and limited series, as well as outstanding drama. It's hard, man. I mean, there's a lot of great television out there right now. So I do not envy you guys at all trying to do this every year.
Well, television has changed so much, and particularly, I want to say, we know The Wire did so much. HBO has done so much to revolutionize television, to make it, they use film. You know, it's a cinematic thing. It's The Sopranos makes it look like they were doing a film each week. And so television has just changed its scope and purview. Instead of it being like an old CBS sitcom, it's like now you can do so many things. There's so many venues. So it's all over the place. It's exploded.
I agree, man. I mean, you're right. And I think the other thing that you got to remember, even before we hit the pandemic, television was really starting to come on and become a really viable option for people who didn't want to really be out in the theaters, man. So you saw the emergence, of course, of Netflix. Amazon has now put a lot of money up, billions of dollars with Jeff Bezos. You've seen Hulu, the rise of, you know, Netflix training everybody that they put like an entire season of something on once a week now. So it has literally changed. And then you go into the way that we were dealing with the pandemic, where everybody was home for like that first year. and weren't going to theaters, it really changed the scope of what we now see on television. And television, to me, has become the more dominant place outside of film until film at least bounces back.
Actors are not afraid to do TV anymore.
No,
If
because
it's good
TV pays like films do now. So, and that's another huge part of it all.
So I'm looking at the winners of the Black Reel Awards. Outstanding Motion Picture was King Richard.
King Richard, man, Will Smith, who also won Outstanding Actor. It came down between that film and The Harder They Fall. And I think the fact that The Harder They Fall, which came out the box with 20 nominations this year, did not win the top prize, which is Outstanding Film, says a lot about what Will Smith and Aunjanue Ellis and the rest of their cast were able to do with that film, man. King Richard, man, it's this year's Rocky for me as a black film. It's a really good, feel-good story about a man who had really unorthodox methods and was able to raise two tennis superstars coming out of the streets of South Central LA, man. Really good story.
I'm just looking at how knock-knee Will Smith is in these shorts as King Richard. He's about to start a brush fire the way he's walking.
Yes, sir.
In that freeze frame. But you're right. I really did enjoy it. It sort of, to me, put Will back in his pursuit of happiness type of phase, Right. You remember that movie was like just a good story. Like, we don't need special effects for everything. So he slowed it down and he told a good story for it.
Well, Shawn, but the other big thing, let me not gloss over this, man. Before this year, Will Smith had been a 9-time Black Reel Award nominee, and he had never won. He kept losing every year to whoever was hot. He lost to Denzel back in 2001 for when he did Ali, when Denzel did Training Day. He lost to Forrest Whitaker when he did the Pursuit of Happiness. And Forrest Whitaker had The Last King of Scotland. He lost against, I want to say, who beat him the year he was up for concussion. He lost that year. So Will had a big donut and had never won, and he finally broke through 20 years later, man. So we were really proud of Will Smith and the job that he's done in this film, and the fact that he was able to finally overcome Denzel Washington, who's a 5-time Outstanding Actor winner, man, who was in the game this year as well with the Tragedy of Macbeth.
So what do you think that was? You think that I saw the Tragedy of Macbeth. I got myself an Apple subscription for just a month so I could catch up on that. And,
Smart man.
And Ted Lasso, And I saw it and I enjoyed it. I thought it was dynamic, but I did think that there was something kind of dispassionate about Denzel's performance as Macbeth. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it does make sense, but I think that the thing about Denzel Washington, which is really difficult, is when you're that good for that long, it's like Denzel Washington, for the most part, man, I think I could count probably on maybe a hand and a half of the performances over the last 40 years that Denzel has done that I didn't like. Like, I didn't like Ricochet. I didn't like Virtuosity. I wasn't a big fan of Two Guns.
No, those were just bad movies. He was good in the movies. I would say that Roman Esquire, that Roman J. Israel Esquire mess, that WKRP, whatever, all the letters he had, I didn't like that. That was terrible.
Yeah, man. I mean, but what I'm saying by that is that Denzel is so good in so many different films that you sort of take for granted. Like in Fences a couple of years ago, where he should have won the Oscar and didn't win, or the time he played Malcolm X and didn't win when he should have won.
Absolutely.
Denzel is really, really solid. And I think he's solid again in this film. But as I said, I think Will's performance as Richard Williams and the fact that he was able to try to duplicate the speech pattern and the screenplay and what he did within that screenplay, I think separated him this year in a way that was different in previous times when he was up for this award, man. So congratulations to Brother Will.
And congratulations on Bel Air as well.
Absolutely.
We got Outstanding Director, James Samuel.
James Samuels, man. You talk about The Harder They Fall, man. That movie, in order to break Black Panther's record, Black Panther got 17 nominations back in 2019 from our group. And I thought we'd never see another movie that would come along that would top 17. And The Harder They Fall with 20 knocked it out the box, man. I mean, I was really, really proud of what James Samuels and that all-star cast did, where they had all of this style and this swag to this Western. And Shawn, is probably the first time I've ever watched a Western where we didn't have a white gaze or a white protagonist. I mean, a white antagonist in the film. This was an all-black Western.
This is a black-on-black story.
Yeah, man, black-on-black story told with style. And I thought, man, this movie was as advertised. When we saw the trailer, you know, like several months earlier, everybody was looking forward to the movie. And when I saw it, I was like, damn, he was actually able to take what I thought he was going to do with it and actually deliver. So I was really, really happy and excited for James Samuels and as well as that entire cast in that film, man.
I gotta be honest here because I saw what the lady and I said they should have called this The Harder They Fall Asleep because that movie did nothing for 2 hours.
Wow.
It was just a bunch of close-ups and zooms and nobody's saying anything and Idris Elba just walking around. He ain't got nothing to do until the end, which I thought was like a writing cheat. So
you know what, man?
It didn't work for me.
Well, you know what, Shawn, honestly, bro, I've learned a long time ago, man, that this is my 30th year as a film critic, man. And I've learned that everybody has an opinion. I used to curate a film series, and people would back in the day when I was younger and I would argue with people, I'd be like, you know what? You don't have to agree with me, but they paying me for my opinion. But I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying that I laugh and that I've had to evolve over time to respect that everybody's not going to see film the way I see film. And I get that. And if it didn't work for you, you know, maybe you'll come back, you'll invite me back on in a year and you'll be like, you know what, Tim, I watched that movie again. Maybe not.
I got it. And
Maybe not.
I'm going to say it again too for the next one. Outstanding actress Tessa Thompson, Passing. I was kind of confused. Was she supposed to be a white woman in the movie?
No. Well, you know, the key with Passing is that you had these two women who were friends. One is Passing as white, which was the Ruth Negga character, and she was the one who could have passed, and she passed for convenience, like at the opening of the film when she's sitting in there on a hot day. But she wasn't passing, but they were both these women who were dealing with these kind of complexion issues based on Nella Larsen's book from 1929. So now to be honest, like you just talked about The Harder They Fall, this was a movie that I thought I liked, but I thought it was a slow burn, and I didn't think a lot of other people would like it as much as I did. And the fact that it got 13 nominations from the Black Reel Awards, I was surprised, but I was like, okay. There were a bunch of people that did like these performances in this film.
I didn't. But
wow.
I can't even dress that up.
So let me make sure I get this right. King Richard worked for you, but the other two didn't.
No, they didn't. I mean, they just sort of like you said, Passing was such a slow burn, and then someone fell out a window. The end. Like, wait a minute. That's more story to tell, ain't it?
Well, you know what I thought, man. I thought the first time I saw it, I thought there was a subtle shove or push out the window. That's what I thought. And then everybody came back, and when she fell out, I was like, that's not how I saw it. So
that'd make a more interesting movie.
Pretty much.
Ingenue Ellis, King Richard, and Coleman Domingo for Zola, both winning supporting actors and actresses. Fantastic.
Now, did you see Zola? Did you see Zola?
Now, I liked him in the movie. I like him in everything. I thought Zola was a lot, but that's the nature of the
I agree with you. I thought it was a lot as well. I thought Taylor Page and Coleman Domingo were probably the best two things in it.
Yes.
But I wasn't a big fan of Zola. I mean, I thought it was okay, but Coleman was great.
Yeah. It was one of those kitchen sink movies. Let's just throw it on there. And documentary, and then we'll go to the academies, but documentary, Summer of Soul. And this was on Hulu. This was Questlove's joint. Summer of Soul, parentheses, or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised.
Brother, I saw that movie, man. I don't know when I saw it. It was early in the year. I got a chance to see it, and the fact that this was a concert that had that kind of an all-star lineup in 1969 that literally happened almost at the same time as Woodstock. We all know Woodstock because they're going to tell you the story about that festival, but the fact that nobody talked about this until Questlove got behind the director's chair and put this out. I thought it was stunning. The fact to see young Stevie Wonder, young Gladys Knight, so much talent on that stage. Nina Simone. It was an amazing documentary, and I think it has a shot to win an Oscar this year for Questlove if Flea doesn't come in and upset it. But that's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right about this documentary. I mean, it's first thing about particularly black musicians, they feel like family members. And
right.
You see, it's like he unearthed some home movies for our aunts and uncles and cousins that we always love audibly, and to not have that story told until now has been a travesty. Quite frankly,
man, I would say so much of it. That's so much of our history, though, Shawn. I mean, things that we've done, amazing things that people who look like you and I have done that always get kind of glossed over like they don't exist. And then one day we go, oh, they did do all that. Yes, we did. Yeah.
Ty, have you seen any of these movies that we're discussing?
I've seen the previews. I've seen most of them. I'm kind of biased towards the movies, and I did have a few questions that I want to ask, especially about the thought process into making the movies. Just primarily the why you're making it, right? Is it primarily for educational purposes? Is it because to keep black actors occupied with a job and employed? Because I know quite a few people who are just when it comes to movies about black people and black oppression, it's like we constantly need to have that yearly oppression reminder movie. And over time it gets harder and harder to support that movie, especially if you are already educated and you have an idea of how everything went. So now you're just seeing it again. And when the movie's a great movie and you start to feel that passion, you start to also feel that anger over again. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you don't want to be angry again because you watched the movie.
You mean like
torture porn? No, I was going to say, he's talking about a lot of what we rail about these trauma stories. Over the last year, I remember last year watching during the award cycle, I think it was the U.S. versus Billie Holiday, with this horrible life that Billie Holiday lived. You had the Judas and the Black Messiah that ended up winning some Oscars last year, won our top prize last year. I think about the Underground Railroad, which I couldn't even get past the first episode. When I saw that black dude getting burnt alive while they were drinking lemonade, I was like, I'm done.
Yes.
So you're right, antebellum, and I can go on and on and on.
Yep.
There's so many of these stories that are told that for some reason they can find funding to tell stories about us in really negative spaces, right? But the films like, what was it, Hidden Figures or other stories that uplift us are having really, really difficult times making money because to answer your original question, you asked why these films are made. They're made because people think that they can get an ROI or a return on their investment from, putting these movies out there. And movies are sketchy business. Shawn knows you act.
Yeah.
It's sketchy business, man.
And I write and produce. And I know this much. I feel like, so not to plug myself, I just wrote a Frederick Douglass Ida B. Wells play about their relationship later in life. And there's a bit where Ida is trying to relate with Frederick when she goes over to talk about her time in London, talking to the white people, and how their eyes get big as saucers when she talks about the tortures against her people. And I think that's essentially it. These people who are bankrolling it, they're thinking, well, we need a black body count. Sure, it's about black people doing whatever that's supposed to be great and uplifting, but we need a body count or some gratuitous violence against black folks. Maybe that'll sell it to white people.
So like, when you see those movies, man, and tell me how y'all feel about this. Like, I often feel like we are secretly being trolled, right? Because, like you just mentioned, the movies that show like the most oppression, the movies that show like white people in a more superior light are the ones that are the most popular, the ones that get the funding for the marketing. And I was already thinking that, but after being behind the screen and having an idea of what goes into production, when you see, the placement of a rebel flag, off to the right, or the language that they're using, even if it's meant to be funny, I feel like it's meant to troll us. I feel like it's meant to secretly appease some people. Like, they literally called the president a nigga to his face. You know what I mean? Like, even though it was a joke, someone had to allow that.
Oh, it wasn't a joke.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't a joke.
Like, he was like, my nigga, like, come on, man. I just can't do it, man. It gets me so frustrated when I see it happening. Like, I almost wrote a blog post on how I think Saturday Night Live is secretly trolling black people.
Well, let me say this.
I can't get it out of my head.
All right, let me say this to you, man. And this is coming from a guy who loves movies and has been watching them for the better part of 5 decades, right? I talk with my peers a lot about how challenging it is to be a black person and love movies, man, because if you think about classic Hollywood, they weren't checking for us. They didn't love us. It's funny. One of my favorite films of all time, I finally saw it on the big screen last weekend. They had the 50th anniversary of The Godfather. And there's a scene in there where they're sitting around the table, all of the 5 families, and the guy is telling the story about, we don't sell narcotics because, we don't like that. We leave that to the dark people. They lost their soul. And I get in my feelings so much watching movies sometimes. Like, I'm sitting right here, right? So it is as challenging as it is for you. And I don't know the brother's name. My apologies. Because we haven't been introduced.
That's Tyrone. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. As challenging as it is for you, you can imagine how challenging it is for us having to sit through countless movies. Like, people like me are watching 250 to 300 movies a year. And a lot of these stories are exactly what you're talking about. And for whatever reason, I'm always questioning, why do we keep making these movies? So for an example, I just left Sundance earlier I think a couple of months ago. And there's a film coming out of Sundance. I don't know, Shawn, if you've seen this one, called, what is it called? Alice. The one with Kiki Palmer. Have you seen that yet? Have you seen the film for that?
I've seen the trailer for it. I've not seen it.
I can't do it.
This is the one about she's a slave.
She's a slave girl.
And then suddenly she ends up in 1973. And I was sitting there going, so when you see the movie and understand what it is, I go, really? Like, why do we have to keep...
The latest gimmick is sort of like the time travel sci-fi movie. I actually was part of a screening party for a test filming of Kindred. They wanted to see if Kindred could be, the book. Octavia Butler could be
Octavia Butler's book, right?
And when I say it was dreadful, it was dreadful, just from production to the writing to the this is disingenuous. This is terribly done. I'm tired of that stuff. I know, like, I'm one of the persons who said that I didn't like Lovecraft Country, but I had a whole bunch of reasons.
Oh man, I love Lovecraft Country. I love what they did with that.
They did sci-fi terribly. Like, we're in Chicago now. How?
Well,
Massachusetts.
No. Here's what I would say about Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country, I think, worked for me because I'm not the biggest sci-fi guy, right? So I was understanding what they were trying to do. I'm following the structure of this story and the fact that you're making a story that the black folks are not just appearing in a superior way, but by the time you get to the final episode, you're like, okay, I get it. if only that could be a real thing. So as much as people love Black Panther for what it represents, Lovecraft Country to me represented something similar, not necessarily in a superhero realm, but in that kind of faux reality sort of a way, if that makes any sense.
Oh, no, I get it. I just wanted the writing to be better. I thought they were too busy trying to get to B when it's A to B plotting, and they didn't. The breakdowns were not sensible to me.
You know, bro, I have to respect you, man, because I know we come in, we in the same field, but we come at it from different directions. So I'm like, okay, I respect.
Yeah, I have a question as a movie critic.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get past like 15 minutes of a movie and you're like, man, this movie is trash, but you got to watch it. You got another hour and a half to spend.
Bruh, let me tell you some things that I do, right? One of the things, and I try to remember. No, but I've seen so many bad films, man. I've gone to screenings. True story. I went to see a movie one time from Terrence Malick, and it was a series of them that were made in the early part of the 2010s. Mm-hmm. You know, Night of Cups, Tree of Life, all these movies. I've actually seen people literally fall asleep in a movie theater. I've gotten up and just actually bounced at a movie theater when a movie is really bad. So it really depends on, sometimes you'll sit there and you go, it's starting off bad, it might go somewhere. And then it never does, and you just get out and you got a great story about a terrible movie that you wasted 90 minutes to 2 hours watching. But that's the job, man. I mean, and they're all not going to be good. Trust me. There are a lot of bad movies out there.
Tim, I saw you had a post up about the Batman. This was kind of controversial. People like Robert Pattinson shouldn't be Batman or whatever. What were your thoughts on the Batman? I see you got a review up.
Man, I thought Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Oh, he hasn't seen it yet?
No, you good.
No, all I was going to say is that I thought the epitome of Batman for me was what Christopher Nolan did back in 2008 with The Dark Knight, right? That was my favorite Batman. But this Batman, the way Matt Reeves has done it, for people out there who haven't watched it yet, and I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say Batman is a thug. And just leave it at that, man. Because, like, you know, we used to seeing Batman when they flashed the bat signal, you know, like, oh, snap, here come Batman. They flashed the bat signal and the Batman, the criminals start running. They like, oh, damn, he coming. So this Batman and the way they shot it, bro, it's brilliant. It's really good. It's very well done. And the fact that it's 3 hours long and you don't feel the 3 hours, that says to me a lot about the feel of that movie. You don't feel it. You sit there and watch it, and it just keeps going. And then the other thing that I thought that I loved about this film is that, you know, normally you always say that in these films, that the hero is only as good as the villain, right? So people think about Heath Ledger's The Joker. He clearly outshadows Batman in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, the villains are more interesting than Bruce Wayne sometimes.
Yeah, man, much more. But in this film, you got Paul Dano as the Riddler. In his Riddler, it almost plays like a serial, you know, what is it, Zodiac? Like, it's really, really dark. But Batman matches his darkness with his, what I call his super thug. He is like Nori. He is super thug. But they do a great job of humanizing him as well. So Matt Reeves, to me, has made, and Shawn may disagree, I think he's made the first real serious movie, the first really good movie of 2022.
No, I think
Batman is the bomb.
No, I think you're correct, because I saw this at noon this afternoon, so I wanted to see what you were going to say about it. But no, you're correct. Yeah. You're spot on. Like, you know, it's. I don't want to say it trumps what Christopher Nolan did, because Christopher Nolan got us to this point, right? You know, to some degree.
He trumps him, man. He trumps him. I mean, because the Batman,
it's like the 3 hours is like, I'm enjoying all of this, and you know, you can sit through 3 hours because we binge watch 4 or 5 episodes of our favorite TV show already. You
The
know,
What?
last
But so,
Batman one was like 4 hours, right? The Batman, Superman
oh yeah, you
remake.
talking about oh god, the Justice League.
Jesus,
Justice League.
that
Yeah.
But
throw my
let me
damn
let me
mic.
just say this. Let me just say this about this Batman, and the reason why when you talk about Christopher Nolan, I love Christopher Nolan, right? Bruh, I challenge you. You think about everybody up until prior to Robert Pattinson playing this character. You think about every variation of Batman. None of those variations can even get close to what Robert Pattinson does. And I
No,
think it's the strength of the screenplay. This is by far to me the best Batman. I'm not saying the best Batman movie, but
no,
the best depiction of Batman on screen.
it
Yeah.
makes sense. His Batman makes sense for all the stuff he's going through and what he's doing. There's
Yeah.
nothing PG-13 about it. It's film
No.
noir. It's film noir. It's fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Absolutely, bro.
So we totally agree on that. Before we go to the Academy Awards, and then we got to get you out of here because you're actually here longer than you said you'd be. I got my pet peeve, or my thing that, and I think I mentioned this when I was on your show one time. All of the non-Black American actors and actresses playing Black American roles. Is it a crisis, or is it just a wave, or is this where we are? Like, we can't.
Wait
even
a second.
find...
I saw this in your tease. Are you asking me about the influx of British actors playing Black roles in American films? Is that what we talking about?
Sometimes they're not even from Britain,
Yes.
but yes, I'm talking about like you know,
All right.
Frederick Douglass was a slave, so now we need a British man to come in and play Frederick. Why?
All right. I'm going to give you a real honest to goodness answer, man, and I'm not gonna be PG because my show is called Keeping It Real with Film Gordon, so I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Go for it.
This subject you asking me about, this is 2022. I've been talking about this since 2010, right? Because I was trying to figure out why Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King. I was trying to think about why Fred Hampton. I was trying to think about, I think about all these roles, and here's your answer. And I hate it, but it's the answer. These British actors, man, whether it's David Oyelowo, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Ruth Negga, all this, the influx of these British actors, they are highly trained actors. And I'm not to say that American actors are not, but man, it is hard, man. If you're like that, you're talking about being a director and a producer, Shawn, right? So if you're casting a role and somebody comes in who's not American and he comes in and crushes your role, think about a brother like Damson Idris, who is British, playing a guy in Snowfall in South Central LA in the 80s.
But there's times that he don't seem like he's from South Central at all. Sometimes he don't seem like he's from South Central at all for the little bit I've seen in Snowfall. But you're right.
No, but I'm just talking about with the voice and the accent.
They're really good.
Yeah, man, they're really good, man. And I'm not saying that, and I promise you, I'm not trying to take away from American actors because I know we have some super actors here. But man, those Brits are good, bro.
It's like
you just got to give it up.
But we can't even get to be brothers and sisters from Cleveland and Queen and Slim. Like, no. Both of them were British. Pretty much. And watch this. And I agree with you. Look, I agree with you because this was a fight. I had a buddy of mine who's an Oscar winner who I'm really close to, and he and I used to argue about this all the time. He was like, man, they come out the womb reading Bard, man. What you gonna do? Those cats. I'm not saying. Look, Shawn. I know it. I know. I'm not saying you wrong. Trust me. It bothers me too. But I'll tell you this, and I'm not even on the level of the actors and actresses that I know that are domestic who go through all of those after-school programs, who go through the trainings, who get all of the schooling and go to this school and that school. I'm not even that type of dude. But I know that they exist. It's a preponderance of them existing because America has said for the kids to survive the ghetto, they need to do those programs and go through those paces. And yet and still, they still go overseas to find somebody else. Like the Martin Luther King one, Homeboy is very dark and not looking like Dr. King. Maybe I'm spoiled by Jeffrey Wright,
Watch this. Homeboy was literally attached to that project when Ava DuVernay showed up. He was there. Yeah, he was there. See, again, like I said, man, I put it in context, man. There are things about our industry, and there are a lot of things that I don't like. But where I sit is if I understand it, I might not like it, but on shows like this, I'm able to kind of give you more backstory, more context into what it is, right? So there have been times that there are people I didn't even know were British until they're not acting, and then you hear me go, oh, damn.
Now,
I
that's
thought
true.
he was blah, blah, blah.
Now, that's
so
true.
they're really good. And then you got to also think of it this way, right? In England, where a lot of these actors originate from, they can't get work over there, so they're coming. So you saying they're going over there to get them. They're coming over here. So Damson Idris was here. Idris Elba came over here. A lot of those folks come here and make their name in American cinema. But I get you, man. I mean, for every Michael B. Jordan, every Jamie Foxx, every Don Cheadle, they're like 5 or 10 of those dudes for every one of these guys that are out there that we know about.
Yes, there's not a bumper crop of 35 and under. Like I could look at male talent and even female talent. There's not a bumper crop of talent.
We got a light bench, man, in America.
A light bench. Yeah. Ty, you want to get in here? You got something to say about this before we move on?
Nah, man. This is y'all thing. I'm supporting. Just sometimes I just can't. Like I
brother, jump in, man. You know we here for you.
I have talent, right? Like I'm a big Donald Glover fan.
Yeah,
but he can't be in everything.
I agree.
You know what I mean? I just like people. Like I have some favorite actors where no matter what they in, I'm watching. Like Denzel, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
yeah, but you got to remember, Denzel's 67, man. We need some more actors to come.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are getting up there and getting in age. Jamie ain't doing a lot these days.
Right.
Will is Will. Don Cheadle's
Don's been doing more TV than movies of late. You know?
We need some more brothers, some people to emerge because Michael B. Jordan is getting close to 40 now. He ain't young no more.
Yeah, even Denzel's son is up there, right?
Yeah, he's in his 30s. You know, on the other side of 35, I think. So yeah, man, this is gonna be a problem for us in about 5 years when you're gonna wake up one day and go, where are the young black actors at?
Is John David impressive to you?
John David, I think is solid. I don't think John David is not a superstar, but part of the problem with John David is that when your father is Denzel Washington, you're gonna always in the back of your mind, that's the first thing you're gonna think about. You know, he's good, but he ain't his daddy. You know, the fact that he was in Tenet and he's done Black Klansman, he's getting the opportunities. I think I'm not gonna necessarily say he's crushing it, but he's solid in everything he's doing.
Solid is the word.
He's solid, man. So to answer your question, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't call him great, but you know, when your father's Denzel Washington, that would be like if your father was Robert De Niro, or Al Pacino, or Marlon Brando. That's a tough act to follow, bro. That's a tough act. Tough act. Yeah.
This has been great. Let's get into the Academy Awards real quick. And first of all, are you happy with the nominations? And what do you think our man Will Packer, who produced Ready to Love, the show that we were on, what do you think Will can do to jazz up the ceremony?
I guess you stopped looking at my face, right? You asked me, am I happy with the nomination?
Yeah.
Let me give it to you again. Bruh, let me tell you something, man. The nomination, the Oscars are going to ask.
I didn't enjoy it. I see that one question I saw. I did not enjoy Really Love, but I did see it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know, the two films, like, you know, everybody keeps talking about Coda and all the other films. The two films that are going to be 1 and 2 in the films to beat are going to be The Power of the Dog coming out of Netflix and Belfast coming out of Focus Features. I saw those two films back in October. I said it then. I thought King Richard was a good film, but King Richard doesn't have an award shot. I honestly don't see any other movie besides Power of the Dog or Belfast winning, man. And both of those stories, I would honestly say that Power of the Dog is a story that I've watched several times. I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think Belfast to me is probably the film that I like the best because I've seen that one 3 times. And for me, that story of Kenneth Branagh growing up in Northern Ireland in 1969 and the Troubles, the Protestants and the Catholics fighting, and the way his family is humanized, I thought Belfast was great. I really do. I like that movie a lot.
That's his Braveheart, not his Braveheart, but that's his passion project. This story.
That's his passion project. He wrote it during COVID, and I think it is really, really good. And I'm looking through all of the other nominees, man, and I'm like, West Side Story, I thought was pretty decent. I thought he did a good job, better than I expected, in freshening the story up from 1961. And other than that, man, all of these Drive My Car, Nightmare Alley. I couldn't figure out how Nightmare Alley got in. And
I thought Nightmare Alley was actually, that's a pedigree one because old boy had done great work beforehand, and Bradley Cooper was in it. But I did not dig Nightmare Alley worth much. It was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think for the most part, when you ask me every year, man, I think that the Academy Awards. There's a lot of flash, but not a lot of substance, man, to these movies, man. And if you ask most people, like your co-host, how many of these 10 movies, how many of these movies did you see?
Maybe like 1 or 2. Like it's one that's hard for me to watch it. Like if the previews don't grab me, I ain't gonna watch it.
Somebody said, "How do we feel about Passing?" We talked about that one already.
We did talk about that one. It was like,
it was a slow burn, but I thought it was good. It was a slow burn with really, really good performances. But yeah, but to his point, that's my point, Shawn. When I talk about the Academy Award every year you have a bunch of films that are so inside that you ask him like, "Hey man, did you see Licorice Pizza?" And you go, "I did, but yeah."
It wasn't Paul Anderson's best. It wasn't even close to it.
And it wasn't for us.
It wasn't.
It's not for us. No.
And I can get with Tim. That's the honest goodness thing. I can get with movies that aren't for us. I went to University of Georgia. I can see anything and hang out with anybody. I can appreciate something that's good. All this stuff ain't good.
No, it's not.
I'm waiting for the flavor to kick in. When you're biting into some food. And I guess we're talking about white movies, so let's talk about white food. It's a white metaphor. When you're biting something like, I'm waiting to taste the salt and the garlic, and you ain't getting none of it. It's like, boy, and you just finish eating it, I
call it all lives matters food. So these are all lives matters movies. You're not getting any soul or swag in these movies. Now, as a critic, I can appreciate them, but when I come home and I'm watching movies and screening them in the house. And my lady, who's just normal, she's not in the industry, and she's my barometer. I'm like, yeah, if it can't capture her, it's not. She's the every person. So if it's not working for her, it's not working, bro. It's not working.
You know what I find myself doing in the movies? Is I find myself subconsciously pointing out the white savior moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it seems like 95% of every movie, there's a white savior moment. And then I just kind of get frustrated after that point.
Somebody said, "What movies am I waiting to see next?" Wow. I know I'm looking forward to later this year the story of the Homie Warriors with Viola Davis called Woman King, directed by Gina Prince Bythewood. I definitely want to see that.
I like Gina Prince Bythewood.
Yeah, I like her a lot, man. We've given her Best Director 2 times, and it's a reason why. Mm-hmm. She's a hell of a director, man. And her last film, I thought came out. What was the one with Charlize Theron when they were the Immortal Soldiers?
That was pretty good. I think
that was pretty good. Yeah,
not Immortals. It was called.
I forget what it was called, but that was the last.
It was really, really good. I'm actually waiting to see part 2 of that.
Well, you know what? That was the one movie they made that I wish they had made a series out of. Like I would have sat through 8 to 10 episodes of that story being told on Netflix.
Yeah. You know what was cool about that movie that I liked? That was one of the first movies in a long time that almost made me shed a tear.
Now, which part? Like overall, or was there a particular part?
It was the part when they played Godspeed.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So it was the old guard when they
Yeah,
turned
the
out to
old
be,
guard. Right.
I felt that. A brother almost shed a tear right there.
Yeah, man, that was good, man. So when somebody asks, what am I looking
The
forward to
old guard.
seeing?
Oh,
Yeah, the Woman King with
okay.
Gina Prince Bythewood and Viola Davis. That definitely is one, but I don't know too much, man. But it's interesting, Sean, and I know we're running out of time, but you
No, it's
should
cool.
have me come back on because I want to talk about how one genre is actually saving Hollywood right now, and that's the superhero genre. So you think about 2 or 3 months
Yeah.
ago,
Yes.
everything was going down. Spider-Man comes out, makes $1 billion.
Spider-Man saves
Yeah.
So wait a
AMC.
minute. So then everything levels off, and then the Batman comes out, and so
Yeah.
superhero movies are now serving as kind of the anchor films that are saving the industry. And if you don't believe me, let's keep watching
Yeah.
grosses over the next couple of months until
Yeah.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness
So
drops
yeah.
in May. Yeah.
So that multiverse theory bought them another 20 years. And maybe
Bingo.
another $20 billion.
Yeah, because the new phase of characters they're introducing aren't working. I'm not
Because you have a multiverse, there's literally nothing you can't create.
There you go. You
and
can
nothing.
bring people back. You
Yeah,
can do
nothing's
all
thrown
kind of
away.
stuff.
That's right. Nothing's thrown away. So they could
Yeah.
technically have the other universe's Tony Stark appear from another universe. You know.
I just want to know why Captain America ain't trying to stop slavery, but I mean not slavery, but
Well,
racism.
he's getting
you know what I'm saying?
getting
Not
3
slavery,
movies.
but Jim Crow.
Look, he's
Oh,
getting 3 movies, and I'm sure that Malcolm Spellman and the rest of the crew that are behind the writing that they did, at least on Disney Plus, they're bringing those movies in. So I don't know what direction they're going to go with these stories, but hope springs eternal, brother.
I enjoyed what they did with Captain America. The Winter Soldier and Captain America, or the Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's what they called it. I enjoyed that. That was good.
I did as well, man.
Yeah, straight.
We're gonna leave it right here and
Human.
make this a cut point for my show. If you want to stick around, I know you got to go, Tim. But if you want to stick around, Tim, for overtime, you're welcome to do that. We'll chat it up and bring back 1 or 2 of the guests from the last segment, and we'll talk about whatever we want to talk about. I'm going to do my quick essay, which is not even written. I'm just going to say something because I was mad about something that happened this week. I'm just going to tell you all to mute your damn mics right now, then.
This is my face. This is my face every time.
I'm going to throw 2 in the air, and I'm going to have to get you back on my show to be continued. Brother, it's been a pleasure meeting you, man. I hope to see you guys again pretty soon, man. This was fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again, and we'll have a lot to talk about after we get disappointed. All the black people were doing all the jokes because Will Packer produced the show at the Oscars, but no black folks will.
Let me tell you. Let me give you a teaser real quick. Will Smith is the front runner right now for Best Actor. Let's see if we get Chadwick Boseman again this year, like we got last year.
But they got Denzel in there. He's gonna split the vote like they do in Heisman years.
Let me tell you something. When they moved the Best Actor to the last award of the night, they did that because they thought Chadwick Boseman was gonna win, and Anthony Hopkins won. So I have no faith, even though I think Will Smith is the best this year. It's not a guarantee. I think you might hear Benedict Cumberbatch instead of Will Smith. I'm just putting you on game early.
I have no expectations.
And nor should you. You should not. And this is coming from a guy who's getting ready to vote for the Critics' Choice Awards, which takes place this weekend. You should have no expectations.
He's Tim Film Gordon. Follow him at Black Real Awards. What's your website, Tim?
BlackRealAwards.com, man. You can go back and check out our show, man. The 22nd annual we just had last week. We're gonna get you back on, man, for the Black Real Awards for television in August, man. So I'm gonna make sure we get you in this year again.
TV's gonna be a knife fight because all them powers are floating out there.
Blood sport.
Thank you, Tim.
Hey, man, you guys take care, man.
All right, God bless.
God bless you as well, man.
Man,
Ty, we've had a good show. We've had a robust show
tonight. Yeah, it's always good, man.
Yeah,
it's always good.
I want to thank the guests. Tim Gordon right there. I also thank Hanif Omar, Lamont Wilkins for coming on the show, and Trent for opening us up and giving us some updates on baseball and other things, sports. And, of course, my wingman, Ty, and, of course, Kym Dudley, Body Butter Bakery. I haven't said it as much here, but Body Butter Bakery, the code is pinned there. It's last call. She's going to be done. Kim's about to, like, go on a beach somewhere and be half naked. And she's like, y'all ain't going to use my body butter when it gets hot, so I ain't going to make none. So take what I got, the next 20 codes, 20 uses of the code, last call code for 50% off at bodybutterbakery.com. And then she's working on some other products. Well, with that said, we're going to get into Shawn Says, and then we're going to have a little overtime and bring back some of our guests from the night. And the Shawn Says is sleepwalkers. And I'll tell you what happened this weekend. The pandemic has stifled one of my endeavors as a marketer. So this was kind of a money show. And so I thought it'd be nice to have an entrepreneurial show around my entrepreneurial reinvesting of my business, where I sell blended spices and so forth. Note the term, my business. Selling all these spices, coming back, we're killing it. I mean, the bins are getting empty. The cash is coming through the hands and everything. The cards are being swiped. And people are buying these blended spices that I hadn't sold in 2 years. A woman comes up, black woman, talks to me and my niece, my black niece, who's helping me, and asks, hey, is this a black-owned business? Yes, it is. And so she picks up some of the packets, and she buys $15 worth of product. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate your support. So she puts it in a bag, and then she walks off, but then she comes back and says, but do you actually make the product yourself? No, ma'am. We buy it out of our kitchens from a supplier right outside of Chicago in Crown Point, Indiana. Okay, cool. She walks off. And something in the atmosphere told me that she was going to come back. She comes back, and she says, I'm sorry, as she starts taking the stuff out of the bag. Now, I'm at an expo now. She starts taking the stuff out the bag and handing it back to me. I would just like a refund. I thought this was a black-owned business. It is a black-owned business. I purchased all of this here. I own it, and now I'm selling it. She said, yeah, but I thought you made the product. Let me tell you folks something. This is why black people don't get anywhere. Because some of us, not all of us, but some of us are too woke to know how business works. If a black person owns a grocery store and Kraft slices of American cheese are being sold in the grocery store, does that mean it is not a black business because all the products are not black owned? No, that's preposterous. And it's almost impossible to do. Now, indeed, there are some places that can make every single thing in the store. But I come from a place where I've seen non-black people everywhere and every day invest, purchase, and take over wholly owned subsidiaries of something that they had nothing to do with except ownership. And I owned everything in that store. And I still own everything in that product. And I'm one of the 15 exclusive buyers of that product nationwide. That's entrepreneurship. But she was too woke to realize that she took $15 out of this black man and his black niece's pocket. Because she wanted me to somehow slave over every single packet and create every single thing. No, I don't have to do that. No one has to do that. That's not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is seeing an opportunity like the ones we talked about on this show and others and capitalizing on those things, because the root word of capitalism is capital. and I had the capital to purchase the product. That's the dream. That's what you want. And we did a damn good job of it. And we had record sales that weekend. Except I missed a round number by $12. Would have been nice to make that round number, but someone had to get their $15 back. With that said, this is the cut point for the show. Ty can rest easy now. And we're in overtime. Thank you for your support. What you got on that, Ty?
Oof. So I had a tweet that kind of went viral because in tech last year there was a big to do that was going around with with the Black Lives Matter movement, and what was happening was, people was literally going to every single company and asking them, like, where do you stand with the Black Lives Matter movement? We need you to make a public statement, and kind of forcing their hand at it. And then if they didn't like the answer, they would say, well, this company doesn't support Black people. Mm-hmm. And then because we're in tech and cybersecurity, there is a conference called Black Hat. Y'all might be familiar with Black Hat.
Familiar with Black Hat, yeah.
So people were complaining that it had the name Black in it. So I crafted this tweet and I said, it wasn't the Black in the name that bothered me. It was the lack of Black on the review board. And that shit went crazy. That shit almost went viral.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's the point. Yeah.
As a Black entrepreneur, like I understand, only because I've been dealing with it. Like, they are so tough on Black entrepreneurs, especially Black people for some reason. In this case, I'm thinking that maybe, if you were just there at the stand, she probably wanted the entire supply chain to be Black owned and was willing to support that. But rarely does that happen, right? Very rarely does that happen.
Well, this is where it starts, right?
Yeah, you got to get your containers from somewhere. You got to get the product from somewhere. You got to get your labeling. You know what I mean? Even the platform that you market it on is not Black owned, right? You're doing Google ads, Facebook ads, where you got to make most of your profit.
Hell, the man who sold
it's not Black owned.
The man who sold me the space for the exhibit for the weekend and next weekend was white.
Yeah, it's not Black
owned. How
so,
far we want to take this, lady? How far you want to take it?
It's just sometimes I feel like they look for any reason to not support you. So it's kind of hard, man. Like, you can't slip up, man. You misspell a word on your website, they'd be like, this business is trash,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just hard to. You just got to kind of try to push through it, man. You got to push through it.
So,
I try to support. If I see you doing anything, I'm going to try to support.
Yeah, you will. Like, shoot, you bought stuff like while we talked to our guests, like just pop in there. Like
all Body Butter Bakery.
Yeah,
right
some
here.
Body Butter Bakery now. Hanif has joined us back, folks. He's kind of into reading us. Hanif is not just economics, but like I said, we did a talk show that was a sports show that was about everything, and
That's right.
it was urban. We didn't just go full board Black, but anybody who listened, it was on the jazz station at NCDU. Like, come on, you know what this is about. But 7:00 Friday nights, we were getting down, and we actually had callers, and we had some people on there. We had Stephen A. Smith and did you have Michael Eric Dyson, or did I tell you I talked to him?
No, you talked to Mike Eric Dyson, but we had Boyce Watkins, we had
Boyce Watkins,
Sugar Ray Leonard, Hank Aaron, Stephen A. Tons of people. Pat Croce, owner of the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yes.
I mean, Hanif was working his ass off to you think I got a Rolodex. This show created a Rolodex on the fly. Hanif who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Omar. but yeah, we had a good time. So what I'm saying is, like, not only is he an economic guru, because you worked at the self-help center.
Yep.
Down in Durham, downtown Durham, still there, and teaching economics at Shaw. But we had broad a spectrum of conversation pieces. So I feel like the floor is open for you to take this wherever you want to go, and people still had some crypto stuff that they want to talk about.
No, that's, man, again, I appreciate you for letting me be on the platform, because again, there are times now, I mean, since that time I have 3 children, so I don't think my 3rd child was born.
No.
I don't think he knew that I was on the radio ever. But my point in saying all that is that to your point, I teach entrepreneurship at Shaw as well. But to your earlier point, I came in on the back end. It's so hilarious to me. And you know, we laugh at stuff like this, Shawn, like, you know, racial stuff, because we know the deep part of it, and then we know the other side of it as well. The thing about it is the thing about I don't use the term, and I encourage the people that I teach, whether it's at Shaw or whether it's in my new capacity where I'm the director of commercial lending at Piedmont Business Capital, where we lend out commercial loans and things of that nature, similar to what I was doing at self-help. But I don't like the term Black entrepreneurship because I think you pigeonhole yourself. And the reason why I say that is, again, if you look behind me, I'm the most wokest person you probably would ever meet, but you see my books. But my point in saying that is the problem with unfortunately, with Black entrepreneurship is not that Black people supporting Black businesses. It's the unfortunate part that people of other nationalities don't support Black businesses. And that's the exchange that is not happening. Like, so we support everyone and nobody support us. So there's always going to be people that are the critics and things of that nature. But even I think the best way to show Black excellence is to be so excellent that it doesn't matter what your genealogy or color is. So that's the only thing I'll say on that. But I do understand what you're saying, quote unquote, being a person of color that, what's the new word now? BIPOC. So being a BIPOC person now, I feel like Negro, by the way. But
you know, BIPOC is a new way of saying Tupac, if you think about it. I'm BIPOC and I'm Tupac. I'll just walk over here.
Yeah. So, but my point is that, I think just do an excellent job, and we can't get caught up in the labels and stuff like that. If we do an excellent job, that is showing, quote unquote, Black excellence, and that you don't even have to put a race to your business, you know. Because unfortunate part is, if you want to be a successful business owner and you're a person of color, the best way to do it is not only target the African American community, because the African American community spends their money with everyone. So you need to you need to target, or you need to have your target market be a broader frame in order to bring in more consumers of other nationalities. Because if you depend only on the quote unquote African American community, most times you're going to fail, because that community spends their money with everyone, as opposed to other immigrants groups. They are very particular about who they spend their money with. So those are the customers that you should be able to try to turn. That's the new revenue flow that can scale your business to a much higher level, as opposed to only focusing on African American people.
Yeah.
That's going to be the flaw.
Yeah, you got to brand it as I'm excellent who happens to be Black.
That's right. Period.
Like, and the excellent is the adjective you want first.
Yeah, we're not begging for money. We're not begging for you to do it because we are Black, and that's usually how it comes. I'm a Black business owner, and I'm like, great, but you're just a great business owner, you know, because you know, you don't see other nationalities, and I know this. I do loans with all types of nationalities. These folks don't say, yo, I'm an Indian guy trying to purchase this hotel, and I just did a hotel deal for someone of Indian descent. Nowhere in the loan write-up did we say anything about his descent being Indian. It's just that he had a good credit score, he had some capital, and he knew how to manage a hotel. Period. That's how we should proceed. even though there is systematic racism and all that type of stuff.
But we got to play the game that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I've been trying to normalize Black excellence for quite some time now. You know, admittedly, you know, there were times where, you know, especially when I first started off in business, there were times when I thought the fact that my name was on the invite for the BD call meant that we weren't going to get the business. Do you know what I mean?
Because
Seeing
you're
a
a
name
Tyrone?
like it was a Tyrone on the call, or having a Tyrone be the one that says, hey, I'm going to one that's going to be leading this assessment for the next 4.5 weeks. I used to think that we were going to lose that business. There was a time where like all of that shifted for me, and that was when I finally got that confidence in myself first. And then I was like, yeah, I am the Tyrone, but this is my opportunity, you know, to show that Black excellence does exist. So there is no fear in that anymore. Like I can't wait to say my name now on the BD calls. And now I'm feeling like my name is what got us the business. Do you know what I mean? So like, I totally understand what you're saying. In the tech world though, like they have like set asides for Black owned businesses. So sometimes it just comes out that way.
Yeah.
And trust me, man, like there are times where I don't want to say like I get frustrated with having to think about being Black, but sometimes like I just want to be a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to be a human.
No.
But even just coming home, like if I come home late from the club, you know, and I'm coming to my apartment, I have to remind myself that I'm Black. So if I see somebody in these hallways, I gotta appear non-threatening. Do you know what I mean? I have to appear like I live here, you know, and I don't know why I be thinking about getting questioned and shit like that, and I shouldn't have to. Do you know what I mean? But it's it just is. So like I know, you know, Black entrepreneurs who won't even put their picture on their website.
Nope.
Out of fear of not getting business.
When I played for this Richmond, it was a Richmond affiliate, a movie as Thomas Jefferson. They did Hamilton style casting called The King of Crimes, and it was syndicated. But when I played Thomas Jefferson, and I grew my hair out and shaved my face and all that stuff, I had there was a little media blitz, and the columnist for the Richmond Times Dispatch said, "What's it like to play Thomas Jefferson?" I said, "It's the first time as a Black man in my profession particularly, but in my life generically, that I didn't have to worry about being a Black man. I can just express the ideas of Thomas Jefferson and showcase my intellect and not worry about how people perceive me, although a Black man playing Thomas Jefferson, okay, we get that. But as the actor, I didn't have to worry about psychosomatic things that may have been going through this brother's mind when he's such and such. No, I'm a white guy. I'm the freest person on earth. I wrote the fucking Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
I just tipped over my slave. You know, I do whatever I want."
Yeah.
And there's very few situations where if you have any type of this skin where you can feel that free. I always said to my fellas, being in DC, took the sound a little bit. Being in DC is I can't think of too many other places to be as a Black man to feel like the freest Black man possible, because the cultural base here, the power base, the political base system, and yeah, there's gentrification, but of any place in America, if you want to experience different types of brothers, you come to DC. When I saw you, Hanif, at the cigar shop, was it this weekend or last weekend?
Man, it was such a weekend. I don't remember which weekend it was. It might have been last weekend, I guess so.
What you were saying,
he got
Shawn.
Nas jeans. I always called him like extra militant Nas. And I'm like, he still looked the same. But he's drinking now.
Yeah.
Shawn, what you were saying really, really made me appreciate the Hamilton. play. So if anyone's seen it, have you seen it?
Yes.
Hamilton, yeah.
Yes.
So that was great. But you're right, man. Living here in DC, you get to see a little bit of everything. There's a little bit less stress, except when you walk into a Republican bar by accident,
You feel it.
you know,
Feel it.
But
you feel it.
listen to this. I mean, Tyrone, you said the funny thing
Mhm.
about putting your name out there. Tyrone, imagine growing up with your name Hanif. It was even
Yeah.
even more ridiculous. But here's the thing. To your
Are we
point,
gonna
Sean.
outblack each other, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm messing with
No,
you, man. I'm messing with you.
No, but
these are bipolar opposites.
No, I get you. I get you.
Well, no, but the fact that I grew up in DC allowed me to be comfortable enough with my name because DC is black now, but it was way blacker. I mean, I grew up when Marion Barry was the mayor, and you can't tell me nothing wrong about that guy. I mean, I love Marion Barry. So my point is, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's a good point. And to your point, Sean, when we look at, if you go back and look at Dr. King near the end of his life, you go back and look at W.B. Du Bois and look at the end of his life, and if you look at Malcolm X at the end of that, they all were moving towards the quote unquote humanitarian. We went through the race politics and understand this, and then you end up, if you're truly trying to really find a certain level of freedom, a certain kind of righteousness, you end up being human, and that's just normal. The labels, unfortunately, have been put on us by the people that that's how they're able to stay in control and run these systems. And so
once Dr.
it
King
shouldn't be
started
ashamed
talking
to feel
about
human.
the money, when he started talking about the money, that was the end of Dr. King. Like, oh, this people's merge equity stuff.
That's right.
So I'll try to tell you a couple funny stories. So the one funny story is sometimes it's like I would have to travel for work. So the technical term is called penetration testing. I'm a penetration tester. Giggity. But basically,
I'm about to mute myself.
Yeah. So basically, we almost getting there. We there, right?
Yep.
So basically, I hack into networks for a living, and sometimes it's me with another team, and sometimes we have to travel. And when we travel, most of the time, when we get on site, we got to get there early. There's like name badges waiting for us, right? And I always like to see who the lady behind the counter is going to give the badges to, because I know my goddamn badge says Tyrone.
There's Larry, there's Frank.
I be waiting to see. So if she going to look at the badge and be like Tyrone, be like, that's obviously your black ass right there.
You ever thought about
and if she give it to
Ty? If you just put it
if
like
she give
Ty?
it to me, I always say no, that's not me.
Okay.
That's him. But I carry it on how they do it, right? Like normally, they would try to be nice and be like, so which one of you are Tyrone? I'd be like, bitch, it's me.
You know who it is. Try to play it off.
But no, if she would have went the other way, then you would have she
right. But I'd be like, I appreciate you trying to be nice and cordial. But there's another thing, that we have to go through that kind of sucks. And it's the physical part of it where we have to do a little bit of social engineering. And we have to go on site and we have to create these roles of what may be believable so we can go on site. So basically, we need to get in the building. We need to go get our hands on a computer or a laptop or a printer, because we have these little USB devices that we use to hack that network. So we have to drum up these situations that are believable. So me be the black dude, gotta be the maintenance man, or the black dude gotta be, someone that is, subpar according to society. And what sucks is that for the most part, I be agreeing to the shit because I know that's what's gonna work in society, right?
That's
There's
the
no
easiest,
way they're gonna
that's
let
the least path of resistance. The least path of resistance.
Yeah, they're not gonna let me come on site and be like, yo, I'm the one that's in charge, even though I be the one that's in charge most of the goddamn time.
Well, it's called, there's a book. Like we talked about books earlier when I was on earlier in the last hour. But The Spook Who Sat by the Door is a great book to read, or it's a black exploitation movie. You can get it. But it's basically, it was about a gentleman who he organized all the gangs on Midwest, right? But he did it. But he was an office professional. So the best way to get into offices and learn, about the higher ups was he used to teach his guys, or he would go into these rooms with a mop in his hand, and that's how he used to be able to sit around and listen and things like that. But yet and still, he was someone like yourself, very professional, very knowledgeable. And so it was called The Spook Who Sat by the Door, because you use that.
Yeah.
You use that.
Honey, they're making that into a series.
Yeah. Oh, are they? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to
Elon Noel. He played in.
Yeah.
He was like Issa Rae's like second boyfriend in Insecure, and he was also in The Photograph and a bunch of Stella Meggy.
Yeah.
Well, if Tim was here, he would know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, Elon Noel.
Well, I'm going to fail you, man. I've watched a half an episode of Insecure. I'm sorry, so you can take whatever black card. I haven't watched. I mean, I respect it, but I don't know who you're talking about. But
Insecure is.
I know Issa Rae is, but I've never watched. I've never looked at it.
You never watched your show?
That was good.
Never.
I
do too much basketball. I do too much basketball to really, I was so into basketball that I haven't, had time to look at shows. I just, get at home, you watch.
Y'all keep talking. I gotta get a new charger, but I can hear you. We gotta get into basketball if you want to.
Yeah, we can. I can hate on LeBron. I got time.
Well, I just saw that.
But anyway.
Kyrie Irving scored 50 some odd points this evening, so I haven't watched it because I was listening to you guys. But
so yeah, another funny story is I used to be in my office, and when it's late and you're in the office, and they have sensors on the motion sensors on the lights. So if I'm at my desk for a while, the lights will cut off.
Oh,
in the building, I'll be like, ah, shit. I gotta make sure the lights come back on before I get up to try to use the bathroom or something, because they might think I'm trying to rob the place.
Ah, damn.
You know what I mean? So I gotta move and shit so the lights come back on.
Wow. Well,
yeah, I mean, it's just shit that we gotta think about.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely, brother. Absolutely. But again, you're talking about the business standpoint. I mean, again, in order for us to scale businesses that are owned by people of color, if we totally focus on African Americans, we're not maximizing our market. We should focus on all people, and that's where you can get. It's more survivability in that.
That's also a very positive way to say you can't always trust black people.
No, I feel you, but sometimes it can come across as if you aren't marketing to your own people.
No,
you know what I mean?
Here's the thing: you can't get caught. That's again when you start identifying with these labels. Again, like Shawn said, if you're trying to be a capitalist, right? So, do you think the nail salon where I grew up? Well, here's the thing: I grew up in Washington D.C. The corner stores that I used to go buy food from weekly or daily. I don't think those gentlemen cared about whether or not what other Chinese folks thought about them. Like, oh, they think because I'm just only serving African Americans, I'm less of a business owner. No, those same actual people in our neighborhoods for years, they sold these products to my uncle, they sold these products to me, and we actually saw their children grow up and go on to private schools and go on to great college institutions using our dollars. So again, if you're in pursuit of capitalism and dollars, you can't allow the mental roadblocks of slavery or what it is to be an African American trap you down. That's more of a trick.
I get
so
you.
Again,
that's kind of like
you're pigeonholing yourself to. If you have a great product, like for instance, we have this great body butter. I'm assuming, and I know that this body butter does not only work on African American people. So if you only target a great product to African Americans, you actually are not a good business person.
Yeah, but Hanif, you didn't see the first part of the show then, because I asked my white friend, did he ever use lotion? And he said no.
I got you.
Well, that's cultural.
Because he's white.
Because white people wear Nikes too, right?
Yeah, but no, it don't have to be white people. It could be the other people.
No, that was the Michael Jordan. Yeah. That was the Michael Jordan statement that he got hated on.
Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem with that statement is it came with a political piece to it.
There was an
Republic. So
extra piece to
it
it.
came with an extra piece to it. So I don't see that in the same vein. What I'm
Good.
saying is small business on people that I work with. When I say small business, that means if you make under $3 million in revenue per year, that's a small business owner, all the way down to $0 per year. If you only focus a great product on one target market, you're actually not doing the right thing in terms of how to really scale and start a business. I'm just saying that. Again,
I agree.
Just to be very honest, I'm just, if you have a great product, and again, sometimes you won't have these encounters where people are saying, okay, you're just for black people, you're just a black business. I think those labels are awful, just being honest with you.
And
there was a.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, for like the example I gave in the Shawn Says essay, which I sort of did. I used to do on the old show, Fast Break show, honey, those essays. Yes. But if I were to try to just like market to or be extra friendly to the black people who walked through the Maryland Home and Garden Expo over the weekend, I would have made possibly a fifth or a sixth of the take that I had in. And that wouldn't have given me a profit.
That's right.
That wouldn't have cut mustard. The thing is, business is its own ministry. My mom and dad were business owners, and they were together, and they worked it together. And my dad, I felt like that was his ministry of love and work. But entrepreneurship and business is kind of like a faith practice if you do it right. And that means you're trying to give a product and goods and services to everyone. You will like to specify, but if you are under that umbrella, that borderline, like Hanif said, if you're a small business person, well, you need as a wider net possible to sell up to. When you're big, you can target whoever the hell you want now that you're big.
That's right.
Because you have more resources, you have more money. It's just more possible for you to do that specific targeting. But when you're coming from nowhere, or you're at the ground level, I got a hot dog stand. Here, sir, have a hot dog. Shit, I'm trying to sell a hot dog to a Muslim. I don't care. I need whoever walks by this hot dog stand to buy a hot dog.
That's right. And then that's why you see like a lot of business owned by African Americans that really are successful is because of food. Because food is kind of like a wider net, right?
Yes.
But to Tyrone's point, if he has a tech company, that technology can work in any setting. Robert Smith, who's I still say he's the richest black man in America. Maybe between him and Kanye, if you trust the Kanye numbers, and I love Kanye.
But my point is, Mike is worth $2.5 billion.
Mike,
he's richer. Mike Jordan.
Well, yeah, he's not listed higher than Robert Smith.
Okay.
So Robert Smith, how did he make his money? He made his money in tech, and his name is Robert Smith. So again, companies didn't know who they were dealing with when he rolled out, but he has a great product, and great software, and he does he does venture capitalism, from that way. And so what I'm saying is the way to scale it, you don't have to label it in order to really, if you really want to scale your business, you don't have to label it, right? Because again, have you been to an Asian market before? You've been into an Asian market, right? You're in DC, go to Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, when we start labeling our stuff like that, you are just narrowing your target market. I'm just telling you.
But black folks go to Irish pubs on St. Patrick's Day.
That's right. We do. We do.
Tyrone McNegro.
But we just found out about Juneteenth, though. We just found out about Juneteenth. So unfortunately, that's what makes our trauma of transatlantic slavery so unique. That's what makes it so unique, and that's why there's a lot of special care that has to be taken when we look at our condition and what happened to us is much different than any other group of people ever in history chronicled. We are special in that regard. But at the same time, we have to put that into a modern lens and still be able to function. And that's all I'm saying. So again, the thing I teach, I'm one of 3 people that teaches a course, History of African American Business since 1865. There's one other taught in Morehouse, another one taught at the University of South Carolina. But the point is, unfortunately is that we support everyone because we wanted to integrate so much, and no one else in turn supported us. Of course, we know that the dollar stayed in our community for a long period of time prior to integration and things like that, and that was beautiful.
We did
But
not
that-
plan the integration piece well. We should
No.
have had an integration committee of Black folks and say, it'll take us a full decade to do this the right way so we don't lose our gains.
That's right. Well, but again, that's the other piece of integrating into capitalism, because capitalism doesn't, the trick of capitalism, or the trick in America is capitalism, there's a rich and poor, but most of the average person sees things black and white or whatever their nationality. The true capitalists, they don't care if you black or white or whatever. They really don't. They use that narrative to control us, but they don't care. It doesn't matter. It's about class, so unfortunately that's how it occurred for us. And so we have a special situation that we have to continue to have talks like this in order to navigate it. So we did integrate without a financial plan, and unfortunately it didn't work. Well, it's not working. It didn't work to its best. And hopefully they're getting things like crypto, maybe we can even the wealth gap. I don't know. So that might be.
When you teach your students, and I take it that these are young, impressionable kids, what's your impression of what the kids are thinking? What type of stuff are you hearing from these 18 to 22, 23-year-olds? What is their idea of how they're going to make money? Do they have a head on their shoulders to where it's sensible or reasonable? Or do they think, hey, I'm me. I'm going to just get out there and I'm going to be a superstar and make cash dollars?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. And I'm just assessing it now, thinking about that. So I have a variety of students. I have some very motivated, highly motivated students that are knowledgeable. And then I have others I had a group of students who, last week, this is God is my witness. I had a group of 3 black males, and I said, we were talking about W.E.B. Du Bois and the Niagara movement, right? So the Niagara movement is the predecessor to the NAACP. So I thought that was going to catch them. Like, yeah, there's the Niagara movement, and that created the NAACP. And I looked at them, and they was like, what is the NAACP? So the thing, they didn't know, because if you look at the years, I'm almost 50 now. So it's just, they don't know. So the cultural context is not there. But that means also, though, I have a lot of students that I don't think that race piece confines. They don't have the race knowledge or the knowledge of history, but I think they're willing to go out and start businesses that can cater to all folks and any people, so they're open in that regard. But they are, quite frankly, unfortunately, ignorant of, that's what they're trying to do. And I don't necessarily have to get into this thing, but I've heard about this teaching race, the race conscious theory or whatever in school, that's what that
critical
does.
Race theory.
Critical race theory. So that, zaps out the memory, the historical memory for color. So my students are already there. So I don't even know why they worried about teaching or not. They don't teach it anymore. These young people did not know about the NAACP at all. And so they were 20 years old. They were 20-year-old students, and intelligent students too.
So we brought back in Lamont is still up for a little bit. He's King T'Challa. He's welcomed us with himself.
Hey.
A lot of folks feel like we need to have that conversation all over again. I feel like we should have a whole nother show where we could explore all of it. I did not think we would have that much of a kindling like we did, but that was really a good piece. But welcome back, brother. How you been? And
Thanks for having me back.
Thanks
for having me back. Huh? Well, I mean, to that point of what you're saying, man, people are thirsty for knowledge and crypto and NFTs. Going back to that Super Bowl ad, companies just don't spend 14 mil for 1 minute if something's not going on. I think the biggest thing stopping people, to touch on what Hanif was saying about NAACP, you need to start having conversations and educating people, right? Because there's obviously a hunger for the knowledge. So you got to start a dialogue somewhere, right? So I think that the more conversations and stuff you have, the more people become comfortable, and then you'll start seeing an influx of more people jumping up, wanting to get into this crypto thing. And already there's interest, so much so to the point of where there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of things you got to be aware of. And, you know, if I was to give I touched on, hey, follow Gary Vee earlier, you know, as a good starting point, and we went over a couple apps to join, but there's even more than that. I mean, we're talking a lot about movies, shows, stuff like that. So I'm friends with, if you watch The Family Business on BET, a good brother named Orlando Duncan, played by Darren DeWitt. I'm sorry, Darren DeWitt Henson. So I literally had a dialogue with him yesterday. Good brother. He does a class every single Sunday, kind of like a beginner class. And then there's like a advanced one that he'll do every month with his partner. So when you talk about resources, good starting points, those can be some of the types of things that you start to gain some knowledge, you know?
And I think that's a great point. I mean, again, thinking about when we recommended the book Think and Grow Rich, there's one that's done by Napoleon Hill does it with, oh my God, my man name, well, it's one of my textbooks in my class, but it's one called Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. And so they have examples of Black entrepreneurs in there. But one of the principles that Napoleon Hill espouses is creating a mastermind group. And that means if you don't know, get a group of friends together and you guys go out and research and you bring it back to the table and come and talk about it. Same way you talk about games or bring a mastermind group together and you guys talk about it and you have dialogue about it and say, hey, look, let's try it. And then that's also a way, if you do an investment group, you can get your feet wet into cryptocurrency or NFCs or other. Do it as a group. Everybody put in a little bit, and then you just sit back and see if it grows. From there, you can open your own thing.
The Sisu type of thing.
Well, yeah, that is called the Susu is in one group. It's also called a Tantan in other groups. But yeah, if you want to do that, But here's the thing: there are other folks that do it, and it's called leveraging. I mean, in the equity banking world where I do it, we might be a smaller bank on a deal, and we do 20% of the deal, and the other bank, the larger bank, may do 80% of the deal. But we both have put our monies forth to earn that interest revenue. So it's not just something as of cultural people. That is a good way to leverage your money and manage your risk, you know. But if you do it through a group of people, and hopefully us talking like that will spur conversation amongst people, because I really think this is the last opportunity that you have to make big dollars before this door closes. And I'm telling you, it's going to close. So if you need to get a group together, do it. If you can do it by yourself and you can stomach it, do it. But you need to at least do it.
Yeah, doing it by yourself. I mean, when I first got into it, I mean, you can lose your shirt, you can lose your mind. There's information overload everywhere. You know, you guys were talking about, business, Black business, entrepreneurship, and there's a term that's universal in business and with stuff like this called analysis paralysis, where an information overload, where you have so much information being thrown at you, you don't know where to start, and then at the end of the day, you just don't do anything. You know, that's kind of like how our brain works, you know? So, I don't know if you guys if you're fans of the Breakfast Club or what have you, but I listen to them, and they've had some folks on there giving some starting points as far as where to start, right? Because we touched on what it is, where it's going, don't miss out. But, where can the average person start aside from following your Gary V's and of the world? And, a few brothers on there, Rodney Burton being one. Now, this is major, with the crypto money team, he's pretty major as far as like what he's done. But as far as giving people tools and resources, that's a good place also to dive into. Just like how you have a range of books on different topics, have a range of people where you can point at different groups, as you said, and see which one you like the best, see which one you want to get into, and just just give it a shot. The thing that's killing people is that
they don't want to try anything
at all. But so for me, I mean, look, Shawn, you seen the show. Like, I kicked off the first episode, right? Yeah. So, okay, I got $100. The average day is, I'm spending $100, whatever. What's going to happen if I take that $100 though and put it in crypto? what's going to happen? Let me just, all right, it's throwaway money, right? All right, let me throw $100 into that.
We throw away money doing so much anyway.
Yeah, and then, so why not put your money into something that can potentially give you a better return than a savings account? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you're really concerned about wealth, like not only creating passive income, but setting yourself up for later. The thing about this generation, everyone wants everything quick. And by the time the mainstream catches on to these stories of these cryptos and Bitcoins, it's too late. Everyone's heard of
that ship is sailed. There's something.
Yeah. Everyone's heard of Shibnobi, whatever, that the dude put $8,000 in. It jumps up and he cashes out $1 billion. Yeah, it can happen like that. But, you know, the key to what Hanif is saying earlier, get in early. You know, you're not going to see a revelation. You know, you're not going to see a revolution like this, if not in this lifetime, for a very long time. You know, if you could go back and invest in Google, Yahoo, you know, freaking Tesla, you know, would you go back and do it? Yeah. Do you remember?
Of course.
Do you remember when Bitcoin was $300? Like, do you remember? Like, okay, so $300. If you take, you know, I mean, we all can do dollar cost averaging and you know, simple math. You throw some dollars at that instead of taking your tax return and buying God knows what. Just take a half of a third of that and just see what it does.
Yeah.
And I was a skeptic. Like I said, it happened to me, you know, until, like I said, Doge was I was like, is this for real? And then cash out. Next thing you know, I've got, you know, I'm $3-4 grand up from a simple few $100 investment. And I'm like, well, shoot, let me learn more. But the key is to finding, you know, like you said, a good group of people who want, you know, who are like-minded individuals, you know, because let's face it, anytime we get the good news, we want to tell friends and family.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna.
The thing about
they're going to
Bitcoin,
stagnate you more than the kindness of strangers.
My bad. I'm sorry, brother.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Tyrone. The thing, I'll just add on to your point. The thing about the reason why this is a good opportunity is because we're actually in maybe close to the second phase of it, but there are coins that are actually being mined now, meaning that you can get in on the initial offerings of the coins.
Absolutely.
There's going to be so there's only about 21 million or something of Bitcoin, right? There's a limited amount of Bitcoin. So there's not inflationary forces on Bitcoin. So what Bitcoin is worth now is what Bitcoin is going to be. It only can go up, right? So the thing is about these other coins, you now have to look for the other coins that are being mined. There's opportunities for that to happen now, in which in 10 years, you're going to be on the back end of when these coins are already in existence. That's the uniqueness of this time right now. Because there are coins that are being mined right now. That's the importance. That's the difference.
I'll throw a gem out there. So one of my buddies put me on to what's called the Pi Network, right? And people say, well, what is the network? You know, is this another scam? To be honest, okay. We think of, like, we touched on Bitcoin, Ethereum, you know, they all live on these nodes that store, spread, and preserve blockchain data, right? Well, if you think of the number of nodes that Ethereum and Bitcoin have, you know, Bitcoin has about 12,000, Ethereum has about 2,900. They're saying Pi Network is going to have like 364,000, something like that, you know, give or take. And to that point right now, you can literally, if you're on Apple or Android, and I thought it was a scam at first, but you can type in PI space network. There's apps. There's an app that you download. Now, you got to go through what you call KYC, which is know your customer. You know, again, we're getting back to terms, which is just really verifying who you are. When you sign up to these crypto accounts, your Coinbase, your crypto.com, that's one we didn't even talk about. You're legally taking pictures of the front and back of your driver's license, verifying your information before you even get on the platform.
You give them everything.
Yeah, you have to, or you don't trade. It's just that simple, because at the same time, it's frustrating, like going through TSA pre-checks, you know, but it's a necessary evil to prevent fraud, scams, bad guys, stuff like that. But going back to that Pi Network thing, literally, let's say you can only get in if you have like an invite from someone who's on a network. You pull up the app, you tap mine. What you're saying, Hanif, you tap a button in the app that says mine Pi. You do it once every 24 hours. It mines Pi for you, totally free. Seems like, doesn't seem real at all. Over time, that continues to grow and grow and grow and grow and compound. And of course, right now we're on, we're talking about trading on decentralized networks and stuff. And for folks who don't know what that means, it just simply means there's no government interference. You have total freedom. Again, we're going back to know what your terms are before anything, because you're going to hear the same types of dialogue, the same types of statements or what have you. But there's so many other resources that you can start doing, as far as getting into
Unique.
crypto.
Is there
Uniquely sharing, you had got me excited about the Iraqi dinar. So I just wanted to show y'all mine.
Was that?
My Iraqi dinar.
Oh,
someone asked me, in the comments.
Uniquely sharing.
I don't even know what it is.
So I went to go get it.
Dinar is
school me on.
It ain't worth nothing.
Yeah.
So it's the money that we incorporated after we took over Iraq the first time.
But people are thinking it's going to come back in value.
So don't get the old dinar. The old dinar is just trash. It's really toilet paper. But the new dinar might be something at some point. So I got almost $500,000, over $600,000 worth.
Hey, you put me on. I didn't even know that.
It's like
yeah. I didn't even know that. So I have to research on that just in case, because again, you never know.
Yeah, I just bought $400 worth.
But the theory is that it'll come back in value.
Yeah, it's worth flying over there, cashing it in, tax-free, coming back. I mean, that's what we were doing during our deployments.
Well, let me put you on to another gem. So, everyone, like you said, talked about SHIB. They all know what happened with that. Look up Shinja, SHINJ.
Mm-hmm. Hide the money, y'all.
They say it's going to be next. It's going to be the next thing that blows. I mean,
which one?
SHIB?
Like I'm on that SHIB train right now.
SHIB. I mean, that SHIB's fine.
Yeah.
Check out Shinja, also SHIN.
Can someone type that in the chat? Sean, can you type that in? Can somebody type it in?
I'll do the SHIB.
So for the more intermediate people, the only way you have to buy it with Ethereum, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to go to, I'll type this in, Uniswap. And basically exchange your Ethereum for the Shinja, right? Mm-hmm. And again, you got $50, $100, whatever. Go ahead and throw it at that. That's what you call an altcoin. What is an altcoin? Well, your main coins are your Bitcoin, your your Ethereum, all that. All the other coins are pretty much considered your altcoin. So these are other additional things that you can invest in.
So Lamont,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, Lamont, let them know that anybody can create their own coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to create your own coin, you think it's gonna be worth something, you can get it to be worth something later on. There's nothing stopping you from creating your own coin.
If you have the know-how to do something like that. That's totally out of my realm.
But for you guys. Is there a crypto for beginners type of manual or book out there that people could, because there's a lot of boutique terms and acronyms being thrown around. And if people like me, how do you get into it so you can start getting into it?
Yeah, there's an app. I would suggest there's an app. Go to Coinbase or Coinbase Pro. You got $10. Right? Buy a little bit of Bitcoin and then follow it for a couple weeks. It ain't gonna grow that much, but you never know.
Well,
it's just like stocks, but
absolutely.
Crypto. Yeah.
I did a I'm the director of the Innovation Entrepreneurship Center at Shaw, and so we did a talk 2 weeks ago about crypto, and we had a gentleman on from Lenovo, and I have that. He had nice slides. He went from the beginning of it to the end. It's about an hour long presentation. I have no problem with sharing that with anyone or putting it up, but it's a great introduction into the blockchain. So it's called Blockchain Demystified. So we just talked about the blockchain, and from that blockchain technology, as we talked about earlier, you get Coinbase, you get different levels of cryptocurrency, you get NFTs. So he explained that particular thing, because not only can you mine coins on the blockchain, but that technology is going to be used by municipal governments to keep information. It also can be used, like I said, and earlier, you can find a way to use it with real estate transactions. So that particular form of technology has not been really tapped all the way, which is, to these gentlemen's point, is let's get in now, so that if you're dealing with coins on the blockchain, then you may spin off into what maybe be more, more in your line. That's how artists are able to get into the blockchain technology. But I like art. So then I started to create a value around my art. Some people may create a value around coins. There's different ways to educating yourself around that technology. And so I'm happy to share that with you guys, and it was a great presentation.
You want to give them a quick and dirty of what blockchain is? Maybe like 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, blockchain is the technology, the digital technology that creates cryptocurrency, but it also creates other things. So it's a way of stamping data. And so because it stamps data, that brings the value of it, And so, for instance, municipalities use it. So, for instance, now instead of using paper for your deed of trust, then once you purchase a home, that is going to be recorded in the blockchain. And so because it's in the blockchain, it's hard to forge it or change it, because it's digital now and it's based on numbers and time. So if anywhere in the block is changed, you can automatically see fraud there. So a lot of municipalities are going to use that technology to create things, and it's being used right now.
Yeah, so it's like a series of servers all over the place. And if you make a change to one, all of these servers have to agree and accept the change.
That's right.
For it to be legit.
That's right.
And that's why you can't hack it, because
So
they all have to agree. They all have to certify. They all have to.
Hold on just a second, fellas. Hi, Miss Lady Zip Arena. We are not in ready to love mode. We are talking.
We can be. We can be.
Well,
we're talking about everything except ready to love.
Miss Lady Zip is a.
That can't be a real person.
That is a ready but she got y'all on, man. I mean, I'll shut up. I mean, you guys got
no. What I'm saying is,
it ain't no big deal to me.
I asked them. I posed the question just to ask them if they had any questions for any of us.
Yeah. Well, that's her question. She's like, y'all still in work mode. Get out of work mode. So
No. But the first one before that was like, are y'all gonna get out of ready to love mode? We ain't.
No, she said, when are we gonna pivot to ready to love?
Pivot to?
You want to talk?
That's what she wants.
Ended.
That's what she wants.
She got questions. She got questions. But
what questions you got?
I don't know. But
quick. But I got kicked off after 3 episodes of being on. Tyrone got kicked off after 3 or 4 episodes of being on. Lamont got kicked off the first episode. We ain't got too much to say. And our season has been.
Hold on, who's Lamont? I thought the brother name was Tyrone.
No, so
I'm Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Oh, okay,
and I'm
here. I'm about to say, but he pointed out. My bad.
What?
Sorry, I knew you was on the show. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. But so, Tyrone and Lamont, those are similar Negro names. You're like, that's some down ass names.
Lord,
hey, Cornelius is on too.
What up, Cornelius? What's up,
Cornelius?
Hey, Jess, how you doing? I can make a ready to love plug,
dude.
I could plug something.
So go ahead.
So
wait a minute, that's right. I didn't even plug your show. You got a show this week?
Oh well.
Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lamont.
Well, no, just going back to resources, what you were saying, Shawn. So I put Darren Henson's Instagram in the chat. And then I said, just say WH Pro sent up, like he does a beginner's class every Sunday. Start there. When I would have joined one of his beginner's classes, but when I found out about it and started actually opening up, having a conversation, that's when I realized other people were people that I trusted were doing it in secret, kind of, and we started talking like that, and I got a wealth of knowledge from that. But the average person, the very first thing you want to start out doing, sign up one of those courses. DM the dude, say, hey, look, you run these classes every Sunday. How can I be down?
And that's like crypto for dummies.
Yeah.
There's
So you're
also a
gonna go
program
over.
in DC. There's another program called NFTeens. NFTeens.
Mm-hmm.
There's a young man that teaches a group of teenagers called NFTeens, and he was on the program as well. So I can share that with you guys.
Boom.
He's right there in the DC area.
So you got 2 resources right there. That to get started. Start there. Okay, well, what about, I need 3 more. No, start there. Get your feet wet.
Yeah, to start somewhere.
And but get your Coinbase, right? Get your Cash App, get your crypto.com site, and then sign up for MetaMask,
Just get
I'm
them
gonna leave you there. I'm gonna leave you there. And hopefully you've grasped hopefully you have a good gauge about what blockchain is. Just piggybacking. Think of it like this. If I want to use an analogy, as far as trains, these train stations or computers are all connected to one peer-to-peer network, right? Mm-hmm. The currency that these trains, the product that it's carrying, its crypto is called Ethereum. That is your money going to the different train stations or different computers on a decentralized network. So that's it. So
the decentralized portion of it is very important because right now it's not regulated. In the sense, regulated in this, it's regulated because it's blockchain is regulated. So blockchain, like Tyrone explained, regulates itself. But the fact that it's not regulated means you don't have any politics coming into it right now, which is going to happen. And again, one of the things that happened last week on my program, on the workshop we did, there was a gentleman that listened to the program, and he said he works for the Department of Treasury, and he just finished the white paper for the feds for them to figure out how could they start getting the currency, the U.S. currency, connected to blockchain, which means the BS is about to come. So get on with it now. So no, there's a white paper, and I know the guy that did it. I won't put his name out there, but he had to do a white paper for the Department of Treasury. So this is real. This is legitimate. And so the decentralized portion of it, which makes it the opportunity. It makes it the opportunity.
We're at Shawn Overtime. It's 11:02 past the hour, and I'm going to throw it to Ty. Ty's about to do something here. What you got, Ty?
No. So they were asking for the ready to love. So I'll make a little slight pitch.
All right.
Something that I am planning. I've been behind the scenes. If you saw me typing, it's because I've been getting with the fellas from the current cast. And this Saturday at 11, on my YouTube channel, getting them together to talk mental health, but from a reality show perspective, and how to deal with being on reality TV and what that was like for them. So I got Tori, Cliff is a maybe, Donovan, Cornelius, Eric. They all have confirmed so far. So you'll see the marketing tomorrow.
Man, they gotta be messing up their shit. They gonna be talking about current shit. They ain't even gonna.
No.
It's supposed to be strictly mental health.
Yeah, that's the focus. I'm gonna try to keep it focused on mental health. And for sure.
And my bad, I missed the thing you had with Sabrina. A few days ago? What have you?
Yeah, so that was a good.
I can't keep up with everything, man. Sometimes I don't even log on. So
no. That was a good one. So I had Sabrina and my friend Cameo on to talk the mental health journey, but the focus for that was domestic violence.
Yeah, and that's
so they came on and shared their stories and stuff. So yeah.
Keep having those.
Well, Miss Lady Zip, Irina, you're gonna have mental health issues because I'm so much more than that show. I lived for 44 years before that show existed. We've all lived at least 40 plus years before the show existed.
Oh, I was gonna say,
can't keep going on that show and keep going over the same things
I
with
think
great love. But
I think Miss Lady Zip might be a little bit addicted because we actually did have a really good
we had a
4 hours. We had a really good 4 hours maybe
yes,
2 nights ago, right?
yeah, we did.
You'll find out on my YouTube channel tomorrow morning, though, by the way.
Oh,
So I'm just gonna
Yo, anything I'm
order
on,
from
I
now
post
on.
on my
You
YouTube
choose
channel.
from Ukraine
Yeah.
earlier, which makes it very convenient. But anyway, yeah. So we can talk about anything. So it don't just have to be. I got a question because I did want to circle back to this because Hanif, you were on here talking about economics for the people because I'm getting into crypto. I'm gonna you always convince me, but for people,
God damn, it's been 2 hours of crypto, man.
it has been.
we just need to run. Hey, Hanif, we just need to run it back.
For real quick, anything. What are the instruments that people can use or would be good on a conventional level of money?
What do you mean?
No, not like the
Outside.
actual instruments, but I'm talking about financial instruments. Like
Well, here's the thing. There's
what
something
funds,
called a wealth.
what
There's
stocks, what type of things are. Yeah.
Well, I'm not an advisor, so I'm not going to give you any stock advice in that. What I'm saying is that there's a wealth pyramid, and stocks and things of that nature at kind of at the top. So you want to get the foundation. First of all, it would be great, of course, get a bank account, own real estate.
That's one.
Get life insurance. Those type of things. That's another reason why wealth doesn't transfer in the BIPOC community because we don't have enough life insurance.
Tyrone, remember my first opening remarks? We were talking about life insurance.
The
Life
other thing is
transfer nothing to anybody.
The other thing, so that's the basis of the wealth pyramid. Then you can step up to things like, real assets. Then it may, some people put boats and cars, that things like. Then you have investment properties. Then you think about a 401k, and stocks and things like that. Something a little bit more risk. Then there's another whole level when you just do a higher level of investing and things like that. So just get the foundational pieces first. Real estate is always, again, because the same thing like blockchain, it's scarcity of it. If you can get into real estate in some type of way, do that. Start with owning your own home, first home. The other thing I would suggest is brand new. I would suggest that everyone, wherever you are, establish an LLC.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
And that means if you walk down the street, charge it to your LLC. Mm-hmm. If when they hire any of you guys to do anything, say, hey, look, well, I work for my own LLC. Make the money go towards your LLC. So that would be another wealth building thing that I would say you can do. And most LLCs cost anywhere from $100, $200 to do yourself. You don't necessarily need an attorney to do it. Those are some of the foundational things. So real estate, savings account, life insurance.
Let me piggyback on that life insurance thing.
That's correct.
Please get a living will. So
living, that's right.
You got the money. You got things taken care of when you're no longer here. Can you please go one step further and get a will drawn up? Like it's a conversation you don't want to have, but at the end of the day, you don't want people fighting over your estate. You've done all this investing, you've done all this, and now you're not here. And greed is a MF. So
estate planning in our community is essential. And this brother was telling, because there's also estate taxes. So if you don't have an estate that established, the U.S. government is going to take 30 or 40% of your wealth already if you don't have an estate. But if you have an estate, you can transfer that wealth and it never leaves and it's not taxed at the same level. So these are some things that wealth principles that we can exchange, and we exchange them through groups like this, a mastermind group and things. But those are the foundational things you get in place first. Then you go get on the crypto. So if you don't have a house, or if you don't have like life insurance and stuff like that, don't mess around with this stuff.
Or you check the check. It ain't time to be like gambling like that.
That's right.
Well,
you can go, rock it off. But I'm just saying, in terms of building a wealth pyramid, start with the basic stuff first, and go like that. Because like Lamont said, there ain't nothing wrong with slow money, and real estate is slow money,
Man, slow money,
stocks are slow money
too.
So all crypto
live a long time. A lot of us gonna live a long time, man. That slow money is there.
People will invest in land, houses, all that. The same thing exists on Web3, on this whole blockchain, but
we still talking
there. like, have your foundation set with your insurance, like Hanif was saying, and then use this as a diversification tool from there. You know, so you've got your investments, your normal 401k, you got your stocks, whatever. You know, even you have money in your savings account with that ridiculously low yield that you're getting. You know, but add this to your toolbox. Like I said, I mean, I can give you all the money analogies in the world, but take $50, take $100 while the market's low, buy some Ethereum. When the market goes back up, look at your account, you know, and just start from there, you know, to learn about compound interest, learn about what your money's going to do while you're sleeping, and go from there, man. I mean, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but
Well, no, and that's the book.
come on, I mean,
The book.
Yeah, most people don't have
The book Richest Man in Babylon is about a 60-page book, maybe it's even 20-page book. The Richest Man in Babylon. It teaches you about compound interest.
now, yeah,
Read
and
that book.
the last book that I got, Sean, you know, I got Sean's book, but I'm an Audible. I still need to get that autograph, sir, and get my autograph copy. So next time, but I, you know, because of my, you know, me being in front of a computer, ridiculous amount of hours a day, I like to, you know, I joined Audible, and if you don't want to, you know, pick up a book and sit down and read because you're multitasking or what have you, join Audible. You know, see if they have it on that format. You know, like Dave Ramsey. You know, when I went through his stuff, you know, I come to find out I've been doing credit all wrong. You know, I know about making payments on time, but this guy went into a totally different approach. You know, something that I didn't even know about. And again, these are conversations that weren't had with me. My parents didn't tell me this. My folks didn't tell me about rich dad, poor dad, investing and all that. And it's one of those things where, well, maybe they just didn't know, you know, but when you do know, you can't unthink what you know. And it's kind of like what people say, I can't unsee what I saw. So now that you know, start a little bit more.
Hey, hey, lovely and talented Crystal Jordan.
Hey, Crystal.
PR. Nice to see you.
How you doing?
We're gonna close
We
on crypto
was
right
wrapping
here.
it up.
And
We
anything
was
else you want to talk
chatting.
about? Thank you for
Why
putting
did
the
they-
link in there, Ty, for the book
Why did
that's
they-
on Amazon. If you want to buy an
Yeah,
autograph
hey.
copy, it's JSD Inc. Just go to my website, JSD Inc. But yeah.
Now you got 3 people on Ready to Love, and someone said, "Why did they kick you off the show?" Like, who they talking? I don't know. Anyway,
Miss Don't Believe the Hype.
Man, I can't see none of the comments you
Crystal
got. How do
Jordan.
I see comments?
What's up, Crystal?
You don't see
Hey,
there's
Crystal.
a button that will show you comments.
Yeah, I get weirded out.
I know y'all saw
Touch
my
the
last
screen
interview. I know y'all saw my last interview with Crystal.
Oh wow,
You know,
where's the button?
we talked
Okay, man,
relationships.
I'm living in the
There were
dark.
some great questions posed there. I gave some great advice in that interview for the fellas.
Hey, Crystal, how am I looking?
For
I
everybody
just got a
else.
clear shot because I've had this 4-box.
Crystal, if you want to put in
neck dimple, that means I'm working out.
Crystal, if you want to put in some of those questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them again.
Really? What were the questions? What were you?
They was good. There were some good questions, and I was tipsy too, so I was just.
I got a question about this because I've always had a problem with men calling themselves tipsy.
No, I was tipsy at the time. I answered the question.
I think men should be, on tilt, faded. I don't know if we should be tipsy.
Bent.
Tipsy's a tough
one of them.
Hanif just walked away. Did I just lose Hanif?
The man going to sip something. You're going to get him a little nip.
I got some questions. Lamont, you say you was dating.
Mm-hmm. I go on dates, man. I mean, a few dates.
How's that going? For you?
Whatever.
How's that going for you, brother?
I mean, nothing titled, like I said. I mean, it's conversations, it's fun, but nothing serious as of yet. And that's not to the point of to say that I'm not looking for something serious, but it's a catch-22 because I'd love to find, somebody that I can connect with. But at the end of the day, you're
a starter
right now.
Question.
Question.
What's the best thing you learned from your experience on the show when it comes to dating?
Being more direct and upfront, straight up. And that's the one takeaway that I've my short time on the show.
Motherfucker called me cute.
What?
Huh?
think Shawn just called me cute.
Yeah,
That's
I
cool.
did not call you cute. I said the term tipsy is too fucking.
Yeah, but no,
I'm not seeing these comments.
being intentional is the main thing.
Hanif, log in and I'm sorry, real quick, Lamont. Hanif, log in and log back off. I mean, log off and then log back in. Maybe you'll see the comments.
All right.
Yeah, so this was like when we started. 8:15, 8:30.
He wouldn't get all the damn comments, but I'm just saying he needs
9,
to
10, it's 11:15 here.
All right, but continue, Lamont. You were answering the question.
No, just I mean that's been the main thing. I mean that's a positive takeaway for me because it cuts through a lot of the fluff, you know. Yeah. So
has this new knowledge been helping you with the dating?
Absolutely. Because one thing that, like, you know, I said on the reunion that didn't get aired about so many edits, you know, when I said that I was enough, you know, sounds cheesy, but it's for real. You know, you get pigeonholed into, you know, bad date after bad date where you think, you know, I don't want to say you don't value what happened, but it brought me back to center as far as a lot of the core competencies.
He got his cigar. Y'all keep talking. He got his cigar. I got to get mine.
So, Lamont, so for the ladies that are in the audience right now, for the ladies in the audience right now, trying to date, what would be, you know, a few things of advice that you would give them?
With the ladies?
Yeah.
Honesty, hands down, you know. Be open and honest, you know.
The bottle done. The bottle done, y'all.
I think
transparency is the last glass of this bottle. It's done.
And be able to communicate. You know, it sounds cliche. It sounds like something that, you know, is second nature, if you will, but so many issues and things can be resolved if we're able to talk to one another and we have that foundation of saying, hey, we're going to be open and honest. Those are the two things, like when I'm having a conversation, when I'm on dates, I try to establish that early because, you know, whether we're going to just be friends or we're building something, we need to have that as a foundation first. That's my...
Hey, you know what? I might try to do something for the peoples.
Well, let me say this. I think Lamont, there's another gentleman that's on. I'm trying to figure out if he's still on, but he's one of a good friend of mine. He's the gentleman that did the presentation in Lenovo. But if Priest, if you're on, put your name in the chat. I think you should connect with Lamont because he's really into crypto too. I'm not getting off this subject, man. I want to connect these two guys. I'm sorry, Tyrone. I'm just trying to connect the two.
Oh, hold on. I messed
But
up.
Priest, if you're there, I can't tell who's here now. I don't do a lot of lives, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't do a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, I'll put my IG down here.
But I don't think he's in here. But I'm going to make sure y'all connect because he's a very knowledgeable brother as well.
Yeah, it's about diversification for me. I'm going to mention something that you probably aren't aware of. I'm even into...
I know y'all see that. These labels talk to you.
My
bad. I'm not...
The labels do talk to you.
I mean,
I've had them.
I am, but I'm not ignoring y'all on purpose. I'm not being malicious with it.
I'm even into like NFT games is not to be missed. Not to be missed. So I'll give you an example. I'm a part of a group called the Money Friends, and there's a game out there it's a play to earn game called Axie, and it's called Axie Infinity. The group I'm in on Facebook is called Axie Profits. Literally, I have a scholarship running where I have folks in the Philippines playing this game, earning what's called SLP, which is Smooth Love Potion, that I can then convert back into dollars, whether I want to cash out or put it back in the game.
Damn it!
Play to earn gaming. Now, this is more intermediate. It's not to be missed. So, you know, just to touch on that, this crypto thing, like I said, I'm trying to diversify as much as I can because it's almost like since this wasn't taught to me, now that I'm starting to be aware of this, I'm trying to throw everything that I can at it. You know, trying to you with. You know, not to lose my shirt, not to spend my rent money, my phone, but you know, not all that. But now instead of me spending, you know, $150, whatever, doing this, going on dates, what have you, let me just take a little bit of that and put it into this. You know?
Meaning you're looking for someone that you can settle down with. You don't have to date, so you can spend your date money on the wealth piece.
Yeah. What would it take to date somebody like for Lamont to be serious about someone? What's it gonna take?
If you're looking for a
For the
wealthy guy,
ladies in the
already wealthy guy, already
for the
be a
ladies in the
wealthy guy.
crowd that's interested right now,
So
what's it gonna take?
I hope, and not just a pretty face, man. Have your mind right. You know, from a knowing what you want standpoint, which gets back to wanting to communicate, wanting to be open and honest with someone.
Hey, man.
But, huh? Oh, like,
No. Still there.
oh, you know, it wouldn't help that it wouldn't hurt to have a sense of humor, what have you, and have those building blocks and go from there. I meet women that, okay, you look good, but what else do you have to offer? You know, like, are we talking just playing around? I'm gonna be 45 next month, you know, on the 18th. You know, what are we doing?
So I'm going
You
to ask
trying
some
to
questions.
play because like you
Yeah,
just
so you're gonna be
have fun for
45.
the night, trying to get serious.
I'm,
You know?
I'm going to ask.
Huh?
I got questions for all the fellas on the panel and the people in the audience.
Okay.
Do you love yourself?
Absolutely. But
And the follow-up question to that is, when did you realize you loved yourself?
all right.
The follow-up question is better, Tyrone.
So
The follow-up question is good.
Well, I got to confirm that he loved himself first.
He already said absolutely.
But I didn't find that out till a couple years ago. So when I said I was single for 7 years, you know, I mean, I took time off to, you know, do 2 films and all that stuff. But there's also a process where I didn't feel like I had value. It was bad relationship after bad relationship. And I'm like, damn, man, you know, I feel like my worth is gone. And on top of that, it's amazing what one person will do to you mentally as far as how they can break you down. So for me, once I started to love myself more, you know, I started being embarrassed at some of the shit that I put myself through. But having my coming to Jesus moment, actually really looking myself in the mirror and saying, hey, you're the issue, helped a lot. And I started growing from there. And what I was looking for out of relationships, out of women, changed as well, you know, because the quality of woman that I was looking for was relative to how I felt about myself. Does that make sense? You know?
Let me ask you something. This seems trivial, but I think this is a real thing. I know where you live. You live far. What does that mean in relation to trying to find a woman that you want? Because you live far.
Yeah, I'm in Haymarket. You know, if distance. So, but I've met women in other states, talked to women in other states, and I don't really do the long distance relationship thing. I'm not a fan of it. But the funny thing is, some women that I have connected with in other states, I mean, if things were different, yeah, I wouldn't be oblivious to it. It all depends on the connection. It depends. You know, me knowing that I live so far away, I have to kind of give some of that up. But, you know, we talk about the 80-20 rule. Let's say this woman's giving me 80% of everything that I'm looking for, you know, and the other 20%, it just so happens that one of those things is she's far away or what have you. You know, I'll go ahead and run with that. You know, I'll try to make that work. We'll see. But again, it depends on the connection.
For the ladies who are making snarky comments, Irina and Leslie, this is not a baseball bat. However, if you were on my live previewing the shows, you would have seen me naked holding a baseball bat. But I can't share that with you now. Sorry. But yeah, it's a long ass story. You're welcome. Carry on.
Hopefully that answers your question. You know, distance, you know, like, you know, I've talked to women out, and if we're talking here, I've talked to women out in Baltimore, Jersey, stuff like that. But if we're talking, you know, your Floridas, Atlanta, stuff like that, I've had conversations there too. And it just all depends on the connection, you know, because it's hard to find a good person out here. But if, like I said, if they're giving me 80% of what I'm looking for, I'm not going to let, you know, I'm going to pursue it. even if it is, you know, some distance like that involved, multi-state or what have you.
Well, let's start this to Hanif. Hanif, you're a bachelor now. You were married, and but you also said you're pushing 50. What are you, 48?
Why you say it like that, man?
I'm 47.
I'm trying to remember because he was always a couple of notches
Yeah,
older.
yeah. That's why I
But
laughed when Lamont, when you said you're 45. I'm like, man, I
Well,
remember when I was
I'm,
45.
you
My
remember
no,
bad.
no,
45? You're like 45 is like
be
a career.
45. I'll be 45 April 18th. So
Got you.
Yo,
Congrats, man.
Hanif, I'm about to be 46.
Nice.
6 months after him, I'm like, damn, I wish I could be turning 45. I'm breaking it down granularly. Like, damn,
Yeah. No, I can't wait to continue to get older. But no, I would say, I mean, this is the thing. Props to you guys. You guys are more like, I majored in accounting and I have an MBA. You guys are, you know, you guys are like Renaissance type guy. You guys are more, you write, you're able to write. That's, you know, Shawn, you was a great writer. I couldn't write the way you wrote. I could talk the same way, but almost. But you guys are a little bit more in touch with your not even with your feelings, but what you really objectively thinking. When I move outside of certain type of like accounting or business, I'm kind of lost, and I'll be honest with that. So I say that I don't even know what my 80% is, to be very honest with you, bro. But you know, and so I'll just be honest. I haven't evolved that much because again, I was married for so long, 27 years, that I really didn't develop anything outside of that. So it you know, to answer your question, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm learning just as you talk now, to be very
but
honest with you.
no, and that's fine. You know, start with your non-negotiables. A lot of people stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
Well, how is, I mean, I'm not gonna dig too far, but
Now
whatever
I
you
do have non-negotiables.
as
I ain't gonna lie, I got
Good.
non-negotiables.
Stick to
Straight up
them.
and down.
but Hanif, how I mean, 27 years. I mean, that's like that's kind of like if you were to put your non-adult life versus your adult life, that's 120% of your non-adult life
That's right.
of being with somebody, and
That's
now
right.
you're out here again. So what's that transition been like for you, and what does it mean as far as like what you're looking for, if you're looking? What does that mean?
Well, I don't. It's been an adventure. You know what I'm saying? It's been revelation to me just to learn what's going on. I mean, again, like I said, I have 3 children. My daughter's 22 and my youngest son is 14. So I'm really into them right now. And so a lot of folks, when you talk about dating and all that type of stuff, that, you know, that kind of gets in the way because that's my non-negotiable, Lamont. Those cats are my non-negotiables. Nothing comes before them, you know, and they're all in activities and games and this and that and that. And so with that being said, you know, I haven't figured it out yet in that regard. It's really about them, you know, and I enjoy that, you know. So, you know, I don't know yet. I really don't know.
And it's okay to not know. You know, the main thing is just having the real conversations, having the difficult conversations with yourself, you know, period.
I see a question, but I can't scroll back down on it. I don't.
Questions. I
Oh, here
think.
it is. Okay, I see. Okay.
You see,
What did your marriage teach you about yourself? Oh, okay. We're not gonna do that here. I think Unique Sherry is she a counselor or something? She's actually a counselor.
she sort of is in that business. Quite frankly, she is. And Unique Sherry, Sister Sherry, is the smartest person in any chat, in any live or whatever.
Is she
She's
asking
in
for
tune.
information
She's
or is she
very
asking to help?
specific. She narrowed down things. So if you feel like that's a personalized question, it probably is because she narrows the shit down.
Yeah.
Because she's that type of person. But y'all will probably become IG friends. She's Canadian. But y'all become IG friends and you might have DM chats and talk to her.
Yeah, I need the context with that one. No, that's cool. That's a good question, but I need the context. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's all right.
No.
All right.
It's not wise ass. It's not a wise ass. What do you mean, Shawn? Shut up. Shawn's busting Sherry. Telling Sherry about what's going. Telling everybody what's about Sherry. Go ahead. I can't hear you, Ty. I can't hear you.
Oh, that's why I'm up here talking shit about y'all ignoring me and shit.
We can't hear you, bro.
I was goddamn muted the whole time, man. I forgot.
The entire time.
Shit. Yeah, I was like, yo, these motherfuckers is just straight ignoring me.
I'm looking at you. You
No,
just
no,
pantomiming
it's
and
cool.
shit. Go on.
But I did have some follow-up questions about the marriage, man. You said 27 years. So, and this is because it came up a couple nights ago. I had a friend when we did another live where he was married for 10 years. So there's a couple questions that I asked him was like, you got married at 21, right? Early, if I'm doing the math right, right? You got married in your 20s.
20.
So a couple of questions is like, what made you stay all those years? And then do you feel like it was a waste?
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, again, like I said, I have 3 amazing children, so that's the one thing. And they have a great mother. She's a great person, and she has an extended family that's still my family. So it unfortunately is just another chapter, but it's not like we're both living, so it's not like we are away from each other in that regard. So no, I don't think it's a waste at all.
Okay.
And again, my grandparents were married. Everyone else in my family was not married. So marriage was like an accomplishment for my family. And so it's something that I don't regret doing at all. It's just, it was part of my growth. I grew a lot. That's the other thing, like I'm saying, Charles Lamont, outside of the construct of that, now I have to think. I don't have, being in a marriage is kind of like a mastermind group too. You make decisions on things, and now I have to make critical decisions on my own where, and before, I had someone to lean on and kind of, go back and forth on things. And now I don't necessarily do that, and so no, I don't regret it at all. I
Oh,
don't regret it at all.
these waiting to examine
Yeah,
are diving in.
I'm just asking because, that was one of the things that plagued me subconsciously. The fact that I saw my parents be married for 20 plus years and then have it end, I'm kind of like, damn. And then for you, like you literally spent your entire adult life married. So, like it makes me wonder, like,
yeah, and so you have a unique perspective being inside of it. So my children may have a different perspective than what I have. You understand what I'm saying? So I think your perspective is unique and value too. I just think with any of these things, wherever you step, it's not the fact that you stepped in that direction of being married or not married. It's just how you deal with the factors when they come to you. So if that shouldn't be a barrier to you getting there, go ahead and try it. If it doesn't work, then it may not work, but you learned enough to go on to the next move, But if you don't, it's almost like I hate to keep bringing it back to this, but it's almost like investing. If you don't even try it, you probably won't know, And so don't be afraid to try it because it'll bring you a whole nother perspective. And again, like I said, Hanif means true believer in God, a true believer in Allah. So I believe our steps are ordered at some point. And so even if you are ordered in a direction that is quote unquote a mistake, that mistake is going to become a value down the line if you learn the lessons you need to learn from it. So
right. I think I'm gonna give it a shot soon.
Yeah.
Just to
Tyrone.
Wait a minute, you gotta give it a shot. Like
he's out there. He put it out there. He just put it out there.
Like, what the fuck does
He
that
put it
mean?
on
You gotta give
live.
it a shot. What does that mean?
You need to put this on YouTube too. He put it on live. He put it out there. He already put it out there.
The lies often dissolve after 30 days. Like
no, he said he put everything on his
it.
YouTube channel. He put everything on YouTube. That's what
I
he said.
synced it. I imagined it today.
Okay, well there you go. Boom.
You imagined it today. Just today. That's remarkable.
One thing. Let me piggyback on. What my mental state would be if I was in a situation that long. I guess the main thing I want to say is about healing on both sides, because you also asked me a question about what I would expect, a woman to come at me with. And did I say something wrong? Oh,
no. You talking about the butter in there.
You
got the butter.
Like, you asked me a question earlier about what I learned and all that stuff, and did I love myself? And one of the things that I took the time to do was heal. Had I have not done that, some of the women that I came across wouldn't have been ready for it. Now, the situation didn't work out. That's neither here nor there. But the fact is, a lot of people carry baggage, and they're still damaged and they still haven't healed from what a previous person does. They bring that into the relationship, which obviously isn't fair to the next person. So you definitely want to make sure that you've taken that time, because the last thing you want to do, as hard as it is to try to find someone out here, is finally have them present themselves and you haven't healed and you're not ready for them, and you missed that chance. So I just wanted to touch on that quick.
Lamont, how did you come to the show? I'm not familiar with your story.
So I met this girl on a dating app, on Tinder, whatever. And, you know, we talking back and forth, and, you know, she's like, oh, I see you do film, stuff like that. I do, you know, casting, whatever. And, you know, she put the information out there about Ready to Love. And I sent it to one of my female friends. I'm like, man, here we go with this again. Is this for real? And they're like, yo, that's a legit show. And the first thing I think of is, you know, ratchet type stuff. I don't want to be in all that. And they were like, no, it's real grown and sexy. It's real stand up. You know, you should do it. So follow back up with the lady. She put me in touch with, you know, Lala. We had a conversation and it just went from there. You know, I went through all the steps that, you know, all of us went through. But that's, you know, weird. I'm rolling on a date now, you know, and connect that way. And, yeah, ended up on the show after that.
So obviously the people in the chats want messy, right?
They want to get
see
they want
that.
to get into
They want
Maybe that's
messy.
I can't even see what any I see the last thing.
Yeah.
So
Hanif is closer. That's cool.
I'm willing to give them what they want.
Tyrone
right?
is always
messy.
about this. So Tyrone, the show.
I like
the floor is yours, Tyrone.
walking that messy tightrope, right? So Shawn and Lamont,
so,
I'm gonna just be straight up with this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, from 1 being bad to 10 being goddamn amazing, how would you rate your ability to bag a chick before the show?
so I would say between 8 and 9 for me.
Shawn? Like if you saw a complete stranger and you wanted to go get her number,
No.
on a scale of 1 to
raised
10,
because that was
how good are
my
you
answer
at
was
getting
8 or
her
9.
number?
My answer was 8 or 9.
Okay, so what's your number after the show?
Yep.
You just say yep.
Mm-hmm.
How successful are you after the show?
Yep.
Okay, Shawn. I see you. Lamont?
Hey, you know, I think I'm in my head too much, man. Like, I don't know if it's the growth, whatever, but that number's gone down, you know.
Wait a minute, the number's not supposed to go
Going down.
Man, like I'm
So
I'm in a different space, man. Like
so Lamont.
before, you know, it's let's go have some fun, whatever it is, you know. I'm not looking for anything serious. But again, when I say there's certain revelations that I've had, there's certain things that I say I want now, you know, the desire's different, right? So
I feel you, Lamont. I feel you, because I feel like with the show, you learned a lot of shit about yourself.
Right.
And then it made you more selective.
So, and what did I say before? Yep. My frame of mind, what I felt about myself, the healing that I was doing, keeping me in bad situations, you know? You know, yeah, I'm having fun. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
y'all ain't Sagittarians. Y'all are not able to compartmentalize these feelings, these emotions and shit. Like, I'm able to do that shit. It's like, you know what? I did learn a lot, and I should do that going forward.
Shawn, your answer was yes.
This is available, and these groceries are delicious. They're available, and in my neighborhood, I'm gonna have these groceries. That's me. I learned a lot from the show, and to feel like, all right, as soon as I see her, I feel like I can spot her. But in the interim, I have free reign, and I'm being very selective about things. But everyone is not like a prime candidate to be marriage material. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna throw her away either because she's in front of me. So it's just like,
Shawn, let's keep in mind, I've seen you out.
You have,
Shawn.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's right. That's right, Sherry.
I've seen you out
means that
I've
that's exactly
seen
Sherry knows how to read me. I'm not gonna say those
Sean on
vulgar
the
words
hunt.
that Sherry has put out there. Those are vulgar
I know
words,
he
Sherry.
ignoring me.
Vulgar.
He ignoring me
How
right
dare
now,
you?
but it's cool.
But it's cool. I'm not ignoring you. Carry on. Finish up, Tyrone. My business
I've
partner
seen
of a month and a half.
I've seen you on the hunt, Sean.
I haven't even had a hunt much though, quite frankly. Like it's been like
Oh, so that's what you're saying. It's been easy. It's been easy for you. Is that what you're saying?
but again, it wasn't tough beforehand. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't.
Okay.
And now it's like
Hey, say it with your chest, Sean. Say it with your chest.
I don't want to show my chest to y'all knuckles, but you know,
No, say it with your chest.
Yeah, it wasn't tough
Say
beforehand.
you was the shit. You was the shit before the show.
And
Is that
now
what you're
after
saying?
the show, I'm black famous and weird ass women. Hey, I saw you, and you were like, all right, you want these drawers? No, maybe those, but not those. No, they're just throwing it. Like, no, it's but in all seriousness, like no, it's not tough. Like companionship is not tough. That woman, that girl is tough.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough one.
So another question for y'all and for the people in the audience: if your mate was to ask you how many bodies you got, would you answer them?
Nope.
Ty is just indulging this shit. It's like
Damn,
he's like
that many
niggas questions
Lamont?
with friends in front of him. And
Here's my thing. But see, my mentality's different around that. I don't want to know how many dudes, you've been with. I mean, now,
Why?
that's not a question that I'm going to entertain. I'll be like, next question.
How many is too many?
I'm more concerned were you involved in like a gangbang or something like that. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Oh shit.
It's going to be a no for me. That's about the only question. Other than that, I stay away. I stay away from that question, and I don't let it be asked to me.
Leslie and Monique.
Hey, Monique.
Are like,
Hey,
you never answer your own damn
Monique.
Look, what did they say?
What up, Tommy?
We're not here. We're not here for me. We're here for.
What they say? You ask a woman that, and I don't let the all police come after me. But they say you ask a woman that question, she gonna lie anyway, or what have you. So why do you even want to know that?
So you got to multiply by 3.
Because Lamont, he's about being messy. But I do want to bring this back to the royal conversation that was really interesting because the women were calling on Essence. They were getting all their damn questions lined up. Back to Hanif, the not newly, but still after so many years, no longer with his wife. Man, this conversation you hear makes you think what about being single?
I've had I have single friends, even when I was married, because obviously, I got married early. This is normal. This is normal. Questioning, but
but now you're in it though. Like you observed them being single, but now you're the single man now.
Yeah, but again, I'm a little different from you and Lamont. I'm not on TV. I haven't been on TV, so I don't have the same type of problems you guys have. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even.
I don't have those same type of problems. So the question, I don't think Ty was asking me. He was asking you too.
No, Ty was asking.
So Hanifa, was it difficult to get back in the game?
I don't know if I'm really back in the game. I mean, no, the whole process of it itself is difficult. You really, for me, I lost a part of myself. I lost a part of my history in that regard. Yeah. So I'm still, I'm not really. I don't know what the game is. And again,
you need to come on the show, man.
Part of my thing is that this all transpired during COVID. So what I'm saying, I was still inside the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little, a little different for me. So I don't have those experiences as rich as you guys do, but I mean it's okay. I mean I don't,
Yeah. Chill with Shawn for a couple of nights. He'll get you right.
Shawn,
let's rephrase that first. First of all, let's rephrase that.
No, I don't worry about what he's saying. I ain't worried about what he's saying.
First of all, let's rephrase that.
I have no insecurities around that.
But yeah, no, like he knows his doors open up. Actually, guys, that's true. When I first moved up here to DC, I think a year or two after I first moved up here, I meet this joker literally a block away at a house party.
That's right.
Remember that, Hanif?
That's right.
And they had a chef and shit in the basement, and they were cooking breakfast and all that other shit.
Those are my friends. Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Those are
But
my friends.
you know.
Well, if you in
So you
DC,
coming to-
everybody knows Sekou. You know Sekou, the bartender in DC. That's one of my brothers. So he always has some type of social event going on. So
Okay.
yeah, and
Come to the speed dating, man. March 19th.
Actually, we had to move the date.
Christ.
It's going to be either April 3rd or 4th.
oh, okay.
Sorry, man. Because
Go- go-
they told
go-
us when we were about to put out an ad, they told us, our chef is gonna have a party because he just got recognized by the city for something. Y'all, when were y'all gonna tell us this shit? And so we found out like literally right before we were gonna put out an ad. So we're pushing it back that weekend, either the 3rd or the 4th. So that's what I wanted to put on the show.
I can be a feeling, Tyrone. I can be a feeling once
Hey,
these other two are not there. You know what I'm saying? They're here for those guys. You know what I'm saying? So I can be a feeling if the other two are not, you know.
No one's here for me. No one's here for me. I like to sit back.
What up, Takia? What's up, Takia? How you doing?
I could be a feeling for you guys.
Okay.
And this young lady said,
I might be out.
answer your own question about the number. She wants to know. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna answer the same question you asked Lamont. She asked, could you go ahead and answer your question? You don't have to. I don't remember it. Oh, you don't see it? Yeah.
I don't remember
now that
the question.
I see the question,
I don't
you can
remember
scroll
the question.
up now. I can see it now.
Yeah, I don't remember the question I asked Lamont.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Lamont, you want to ask him the question he asked you?
What question was it?
About your number.
Nah, man.
Actually, that is kind of man code type thing. So you know, we don't need to go in. I get it.
No, I think I said when you were having a conversation with your mate, would you ask her what her body count was?
Oh.
And would you answer if she asked you what your body count was?
I mean,
and then the follow-up to that was, how many is too many?
At the end of the day, nobody wants to, you got the phrase out there, no one wants to turn a hoe into a housewife. And then on the male side, you don't want to be with somebody, everybody, you know. But do you straight up ask? Like, do you really want to know the answer to that at the end of the day? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't have those.
I do.
I don't want to, now, granted, I don't.
I ask. I mean, I would.
Turn a hoe into a housewife, but.
Yeah, it's not a question
Yeah,
for me.
wouldn't ask.
It didn't matter to me. That didn't matter to me. But I could be
This
ignorant.
lady Zip says she stopped counting over a decade ago.
So
Yeah.
so let me ask you a question. Let me flip it.
Yeah.
Going back to my
Yeah.
80-20 rule. So hard it is, because even dating in 2022 isn't the same as it was 2 years ago. You finally meet someone, right? You connect with on all levels. Everyone's done the communication, all that, and then you ask that question and you don't get the answer that you're looking for. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? You walk away, or you have a decision to make. So,
But I'm not looking for a specific answer unless,
but
she was in the industry.
Why doesn't he get the questions that he asked us?
Like, if her body count is crazy, like, I mean, what are you gonna do with that information now that you have it?
I think it matters, right?
Yeah.
It definitely matters.
Yeah.
Like if we up in the 200s, it matters, right?
Oh, hell yeah, and but hey, I don't know how you ask the question. I haven't,
I think you could just ask, like, see what she say. Not that I would ask.
But but that gets back to what I'm saying. You think she's gonna tell you the truth? Guy or girl, really think the true number is gonna come out? So,
for real though, why does this matter though?
I don't know. I'm just going off what's happening.
It may matter. It may not matter.
Like, if she gives you
does it matter if it's more than you? Is that what it is?
So let's say you have a predetermined number in your head. She gives you a number, right? And it's lower than the number you thought, are you gonna think she bullshitting? You know what I mean? Like, are you gonna?
I just want to, like, for me, I really just want to see, like, if I even ask, I really just want to see what she say. Like, do she even trust me, knowing that number?
So
And is she willing to even tell me a number? I think it says a lot about, where we are
Well, Ty's
and
sister
where we
just
stand.
asked, "What if the answer is I don't know?"
God damn it.
huh?
Then, I
That's all.
mean, I don't know. I don't know the number. I mean, I have an idea, but I don't know the number. I don't know the exact number.
All you really need to know is if she's been with a friend of yours. The number doesn't matter, says our lovely sponsor.
Yeah.
Dudley. And by the way,
So,
speaking of our
so
sponsor, real
basic.
quick, Body Butter Bakery, she's only giving away 20 of these, 50% off,
So
and she's
basic.
done until she comes back with more product.
Is,
So
is
go
she
to the
is she
go to
related
the
to the
chat.
Dudley Hair Products family as well?
No,
So
she's not related to Dudley Hair
basically,
Products. She's actually out of Florida. So I don't
okay.
think the Dudley family was out of Florida. They're down the street from us.
Kernersville.
Yeah. But she is, though, Hanif, a former cosmetologist, and she changed over in October when she started learning how to make body butter, and she made it for her friends, and she started to sell it. And since October, she's never worked and done another hairstyle again. So that's an entrepreneurial success story, and we're gonna have her on and talk about her.
To our earlier point, even though it's not owned by African Americans anymore, Carol's daughter was in Target, and the Mrs. Shea or what have you is in Target. So just to our point, that broadening your market, even though you have shea butter or cocoa or some coconut oil, which traditionally may be used by African Americans, you still can sell that in a wider market. So I wish her all the best. That's awesome. Go ahead, Tyrone. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother.
Ace from this season just joined. Tori from this season just
What
joined.
up, Ace? What up, Tori?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
What's up?
But basically, if it was me, I would just want to know if he in the room at the moment.
Wait a minute. Why you want to know that?
You want to know what?
Is he in the room that they walked in?
Yeah, but why you want to know
If he's
that?
currently in the room right now, then I need to know.
Mental stress you're putting on yourself. Why even want to
There
know?
ain't no mental stress. If he's in the room currently,
what's
like
to be gained though, Ty? You
I'm
got
with,
her with
I'm
you.
with Sean. I'm with
Sean. Knowledge is to be gained.
But the knowledge is not to your benefit at that moment. You're gonna start nutting out.
It could be.
You gotta start
nutting out.
You gotta
I'm not
focusing on him like
no,
a sitcom
I'm not.
from the 60s.
I'm secure. I'm not stressing. I just need to know.
Leslie says, then what? Now what?
Okay, so depending on his approach to the situation, and tell me a lot. You know what?
Yeah,
my sister just told me to shut up.
Sissy just told her shut the fuck up. Sissy said, shut up.
Well, yeah, my thing is, I don't necessarily. I'm interested in what Sean and Lamont have to say. You guys are a little bit more developed. To me, that none of that stuff matters. Who was there before me or who, that doesn't matter to me. But I also respect what Ty is saying. It's a perspective. I just don't have that same perspective.
I get it.
It's not going to affect a relationship. I'm just saying it's still good to know.
I get what the dude's saying. Like I said, that's something like I said, no one wants to turn a hoe into a house. Like no one wants to be with someone that's been with everybody. Am I gonna ask that question? Nah. And like if you start hearing stuff like, she slept with the football team. All right, there's an issue. But
the football team, if the football team and we all over 40, that's in high school. So
I'm just saying.
That's 20, 30 years ago. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, and this may be a little off. If she has that much experience per se, you probably benefit from that now.
So honey, like part of my essay from last week has a lot to do with men holding double standards over women, but men still doing the shit that they accuse women of doing. Mm-hmm. It was more specifically, it was like, all right, these brothers are going crazy over, man, Joe Biden seems to like all these professional black women who have white husbands. Okay, yeah, but as black men, we don't say anything about brothers who come from the NBA draft and the NFL draft with these non-black women on their arms or anything like that. And all of a sudden we want to be militant because we see a black woman achieving, doing the same shit that some of us would do. And some of us, I know in my circle, who said they will do. It's not that I'm knocking anyone for interracial dates or whatever. I have that shit in my family. But what I'm saying is the hypocrisy seems to stem from some degree of, no, sister, you can't do this. I'm going to keep doing this. And it's just so disingenuous as far as like the respect level that goes back and forth between black men and black women. That was my thing. And so to extrapolate to this conversation, pull it back more, brothers, men in general, not just brothers, but men do not want to see women living their best whole life like men be living their best whole life.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
You're asking Ty, right? Because I don't have.
I'm not asking. I'm just saying.
The views and opinions expressed by Shawn, Durham, those of Shawn.
This is the Shawn Show overtime, by the way. It's 11:55, 5 till the hour, and yes, these are my opinions because of my show. But we just had overtime from a great show. These cats were on the financial piece of the show. We had not Tim Floyd. Tim Floyd was a terrible coach for the Bulls in Iowa State.
He was a good coach at Iowa State, though.
No, but who was that? Uniquely Sherry? You're right. Most of the time, men are emotionally mature. Men are egotistical about it all. Men, for some reason, think that their woman is a virgin or some shit. You know what I mean? And I think somebody alluded to it earlier about having her, be what's the word I'm looking for? Seasoned. I guess that's a good word.
Yeah, seasoned.
But you can benefit from her seasoning.
I want her to be seasoned. And how's she gonna get seasoned if she don't fuck anybody? Let's just get R-rated. If she ain't fucking anybody, how's she gonna be seasoned? Sorry. Where's she gonna
if you're secure in that
from? Watching Rodgers and Hammerstein State Fair, and I saw this shit. Michelle Reel's 1964. Shawn is young. Shawn is the second oldest motherfucker on this panel, and I said I don't mind a woman who's had lived life before me. That's not the idea of a young boy. A young boy says, you are only virginal for me. As opposed to, I'm 45. You're 40.
How's that been working out for you though, Shawn?
No, it's not working out or working out. I'm not indicting any woman because of who she fucks. That's a question that you came up with. How you gonna put that shit on me?
Kym said,
that shit was not a Shawn question. Shawn's point of view was like, if you live your life, you live your life. But now that you're with me, that's what's important.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
I think you guys need to look at the questions in there. I mean, I think that, and this is for Ty. Why the double standard? So
shit.
I think Ty can speak to that.
What do you mean?
About
what do you mean by the double standard
and all that type of stuff? I don't know. I mean, you could probably see the questions better than me.
I still can't.
Kind of matter.
So
I mean,
you can't see them.
So if something comes,
I normally wouldn't even ask, right? Because it's not a big deal. I mean, it's not a big deal unless it's like a really, really high number. But I normally wouldn't even ask. Like, I really don't even care about your ex or your previous ex or anybody from, last 5-10 years. Like, I don't care. I can tell by the conversation pretty much how your previous relationships went and how you carry yourself. I feel like my intuition would have already told me, a few things about you. And if I had picked up some things that I didn't like, we wouldn't even be there. You know what I mean? Like, for the fact that I'm talking to you, it really just means my spirit sits well. Like, especially we're going to make it to that point. But
why do you want the information
ahead,
if she slept with somebody in the room that you're walking into?
No, it's not about me wanting the information, but I think it's more about me identifying if she's willing to have these conversations with me. 1, 2, if she's willing to, allow herself to be a little bit vulnerable with me. Am I going to allow myself to be a little bit vulnerable with her? Am I going to worry about how she's going to respond to my response to that question? and vice versa, right? Like ultimately, I want to know if we are going to be adults about our conversations in the future and now, right?
Fair.
Okay.
And that would be a very telling question.
Sean, if you see some more questions, you can go ahead and
Yeah.
ask those.
Yeah, sure.
Come
I
on,
got some,
Leisha. Come
it is
on,
because
Leisha.
we got some past guests, by the way, that have joined. Like Leon has joined, Tommy Taylor Jr. has joined. By the way, fellas, any former persons who've been on the show, I'm gonna put together a little bracket challenge. You're welcome to do it. I say let's do a bracket challenge, whether you know what the fuck is going on or not, because I guarantee you, no one has watched more than 15 hours of college basketball this season.
Yeah. Another thing, my sister's in the chat.
Hey, sis.
She is fucking holding me accountable as shit right now.
She is.
Share XOX. That's what I love about her. She ain't gonna never let me slip.
I wish
she gonna always tell me to keep it real. So
Lamont,
if I'm lying about something, she definitely gonna call me out.
Well, but there was a comment earlier that you was talking about, I guess, women kind of just like knocking them down just like men. The one thing that I can say to that is, like, and again, don't send the all police at me, but I will say that some women take sex for love. Like, I can have sex with a woman and still be thinking about the person I love, you know, like, let me make sure I frame this right.
In that moment, are you thinking about them in that moment? God damn, that's.
But can you? But like,
pretty brutal.
I mean, no. A lot of women do mistake sex for love. Like, just because I'm having sex with you doesn't mean I love you. Plain and simple, you know.
That's not what you just said. You said you could be with somebody else.
Yeah, me personally,
be thinking about the person you love.
Yeah, like, so
that's
different. I had mindless sex with, you know, some. I don't want to say a random person, but you know, but I'm in love with someone else. You know, maybe they don't want me. Maybe it didn't work out. But, you know, my heart is still over there. But
you mean in the moment, you're still thinking about the person you love? Is that what you're saying?
I've been in situations where I've slept with women that I was not in love with, like didn't love like that. And yeah.
You were thinking about someone else the whole time?
Jeez. I mean, when you say it like that, like, good God.
No,
like
I'm
thinking about
just
while
trying to confirm.
Having sex with the girl. I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to confirm what you just said.
Like, in general, well, maybe I didn't say it right. Like, I'm generally not thinking about this girl that I'm in love with while I'm having sex with another woman. I'm just saying that I can have sex with another woman and still love somebody else. Like, if that makes sense.
I mean, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But again, there's I don't even want to say there's an argument, but again, a lot of women do mistake sex for love. And I was just pointing that part out. That what am I missing?
He's reading comments. I'm going to point out something real quick.
I can't see no comments.
I started this at 12:00. I started this at 8:09, 8:08. So that means we got about 5-6 minutes on this portion of the live. I would continue it. It'll take just 1 minute, but that means we have to stop and start this over. Same thing for the audience. If you want to find me again, I'm going to stop this and start it over. We're going to do it on my phone. Are any of your brothers going to come back on the other side, or are you going to call it a night? What y'all going to do?
Well, I think for me, I got some time.
I still need to finish this.
It's up to the people to see if they really want to.
The people ain't sleeping. These people are hanging out.
They want to hear Lamont and
Ty. Like I said, I'll come back on if you want me to, but you know, I can't see any comments or anything like that. So if y'all want me to
No, it's cool. It's cool. You can't see these comments.
It's all right.
No, you're good.
Somebody said they're here for it, so somebody wait.
But there's a couple here for it.
So I feel like this is what they wanted to hear.
Yeah, the overtime is sometimes better than the show.
Somebody named I'll Be Sure. Who's I'll Be Sure?
They calling you Al B. Sure.
Come on.
They probably calling you small Al B. Sure.
Hanifa.
Who called you? Who could come back, Albie Sure? Yeah, they called you Albie Sure. No one else looks like Albie Sure on the fucking chat. It's
All right.
me, Lamont, and Tyrone. And then they looked at you. And she said Albie Sure. That's also telling you how old Sherry is. She didn't even go Nas. She said Albie Sure.
No. Yeah.
Wow.
You went night and day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she
Okay.
said you, Hanif. So,
All right, we can come back, man. I can come back. I mean, like I said, I don't do much of these, and we used to talk all the time. So
yeah, we talked all the time. All right, so hang on, boys. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna switch this over because we're about to cut off. All right. So everybody, just chill out.